From the supernatural Rube Goldberg grand design of death comes the film that will make you scared of literally everything around you. The franchise bold enough to have death itself as the main baddie, that's right, we're talking about the Grim Reaper Rodeo that is 2000's Final Destination. The story of a group of teenagers and a teacher who cheat death and dodge a John Denver demise only to have the original existential exterminator hot on their trails. How many teenagers does it take to make Atlantic Ocean confetti? Does a premonition a day keep the Reaper at bay? And how hard is it really to look both ways before stepping into oncoming traffic? Have your live electrical wires grounded and your tray tables in the full upright and locked positions, because tonight we are chuddling to our final destination.
Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
Whoa.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Fuck good. If what the actual fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Welcome, Chuddle Club members, to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. My name's Bryan, and I'm joined by my co-occupants of the pod, Ross and Sam.
Oh, hey.
Tonight we test fate as we discuss 2000's Final Destination. Currently, not really streaming anywhere. There's
fuck.
You can rent it.
Yeah, you can rent it. It's kind of like, I think on like the Sci-Fi app, if you have regular TV already
Cable?
or something. Yeah, cable. So, but I think it's edited.
Right.
So I don't know.
Good
luck.
Good luck. Honestly, we just bought the Blu-ray.
We bought we have the 5 film collection. I don't know if it's still on sale, but it was a great deal. So
It's at Walmart now on DVD in a cool looking case. If you're still buying DVDs.
Ow. Way to DVD shame.
It's out there. We hope you can watch it, or at least, remember it enough. And in case you didn't know, we're going to keep it spoiler free up top, and we will let you know when the spoilers are presented. But before we get into our film for today, we joked about figuring out a way to entrap them into another franchise, and by golly, we did it. Welcome back, Cody and Sergio from the Horror Bandwagon.
Blurgio's in the house.
Wow. Thank you.
Listen, we don't joke around. We're fucking coming back. All right.
Yes,
oh wait, can I curse?
Of course.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Sorry, is this a Christian podcast? Hold on.
Another format change.
Yeah. We keep it clean up top, and then we just swear after about 5 minutes.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. See, I feel like next time we need like entrance music now. We need like a WWE like
Sam, get on that.
The Horror Bandwagon. Or we just come on and just go, Chuddle! And then that's it.
Chuddle.
Let us know what you prefer, and we'll make it happen.
Sam's our music guy. He makes the beats. He makes the tunes. That's
shit.
Yeah. He'll cook something up.
If you've
Make
heard
it
of
weird,
that,
but make it
that's
sexy.
me.
That's what
Air horns.
I did that.
Well, thank you for coming back. We're very excited to go down this franchise journey with you. If you don't remember, they've been on our Wreck series. So go back, listen to those. Well,
We got wrecked.
we started with quarantine,
times.
and then we got wrecked.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's so weird to promote those videos because it's like quarantine. It's the Wreck franchise minus
the first one. We did quarantine.
Minus the original one.
I feel like I get it.
Right.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We are completionists enough that we may have to circle back. I mean, this may be a very long time from now, but we may just shits and giggles just do record.
That'd be fun.
It'll be the last episode of Chuddle the Pod.
Oh my god.
Very last.
No, I was gonna say
You're all shuttled out.
Okay, I was gonna bring it to like we actually have like a recording studio where we all get together and record in one space.
Oh, the
first time we do that, it'll be right. Yeah, there we go. All right. One last thing before we jump into it. Tonight we have the Patreon, where we got to shout out our Coven of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank your beautiful souls. Don't forget, the Patreon has all sorts of bonus episodes, so that's what they're getting over there. Some extra boiled down, some mailbag stuff. We're cooking up a few things over there, so jump over into that and check it out.
Access to our library of stuff that we deleted out of our feed.
Yes, that's
so if
true.
you're new, you can hear the old format and all sorts of stuff in there.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff laying around, just laying around in there.
Just scattered.
It's like a messy room in there. We scatter our shit around. You find it. It's a good time.
It's good. The Patreon's good, guys.
Speaking of scattering shit around, that was a bad segue. I'm sorry, but also the Horror Bandwagon. Check out their YouTube channel. Follow them on their social media. They do great react videos. Really good stuff.
Speaking of shit,
scattering shit around.
Speaking of absolute shit, let's talk about your YouTube.
That was a horrible segue, Sam. We got to work on that.
Worst. I apologize.
Oh my god!
Usually, you can just take the last thing someone said and find a way, but.
And this is I literally was like, your Patreon's good. I love your Patreon.
I'm just going to throw you a bone, Sam, and say that you quietly said, speaking of spreading the shit around, that's our YouTube.
Oh, it's good shit.
Exactly.
It's a good shit, you know?
It truly is.
The nice, clean, like, plot.
My wife loves it. And
like a single...
Yes.
Great. All right. So that's the time for us to now jump into this movie. Half force, not full force yet, because we're not into the spoilers quite yet. So our spoiler-free tagline for tonight. After a group of friends narrowly escape a devastating disaster, they realize that death itself is hunting them down, one by one, forcing them to unravel the mysterious patterns and confront their inevitable fate. Who made it? This movie was directed by James Wong, written by Glenn. I don't want anyone to get confused. James Wong.
Yeah, you gotta make it clear.
Written by Glenn Morgan, James Wong, and Jeffrey Reddick. I don't know. You may know Glenn Morgan's name. He had to do a lot with the X-Files.
James Wong as well. They were
exactly.
writing
James
partners
Wong,
and did a ton of X-File shit together.
Yeah.
This was going to be an X-File.
Exactly.
Which, watching it, knowing that, I was like, God damn, that makes so much sense. I can see it all.
It does.
Yeah, and
we said it reminded us of like a Twilight Zone.
And it is.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's a, what is it? 22 is the name of the episode. So, woman has premonitions of her demise.
There's another movie. It's also kind of modeled off of, so it has a lot of influence and just kind of where they were and what they were trying to do with it, for sure. But those are our writers and directors behind it. Key players in the film: Devon Sawa as Alex Browning, Ali Larder as Clear Rivers, Kerr Smith as Carter Horton, Sean William Scott as Billy Hitchcock, Amanda Detmer as Terry Chaney, Chad Danella as Todd Wagner, Brendan Farr as George Wagner. The only reason I mentioned him, he was the brother of Todd. I don't know if anyone ever watched the show Roswell, but he was in that show.
Oh,
so that's where I always think of him from.
Yeah.
Shout out to
old WB show about teens that were aliens in Roswell, New Mexico. Classic cool. WB stuff. CW, you know all that good stuff. And then Tony Todd as. He's just credited as Bloodworth, but he's Dr. Bloodworth or Mr. or something like that. So those are he is something. He's fantastic. Those are who's in it. Let's get to the Gore-o-meter.
It's time for the Gore-o-meter.
Fatality.
Basically, on a scale of 1 to the 10, the psycho to the sadness. How gory is this film here? Consistency and intensity. What are you going to give it?
I'm at a 3.5, I think. Certainly not very consistent. On the occasions we do get it, it can be a little intense. It's a nod towards the intense, a hat tip towards the intense, but it's still very pulled back, I feel, especially for an R movie. I'm assuming this is R because of all the fucks in it. I would have thought I would have got a bit more.
There's a truckload
gore.
of fucks in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I forget how tame this first entry is compared to the other. Again, we haven't seen 4 or 5. He hasn't seen like number 2, but I've seen the first 3, and compared to those, I forget that this was not as gory. And I don't know if it has to do anything with like the post Columbine era. They had to kind of really like do like cut shots and turn away from things, but There's still gory moments.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. My initial one was a 5, where it was like, I think it wasn't, when you got them, especially, there were certain scenes where like rewatching again were pretty intense, I guess. But it wasn't over the top by any standpoint. Like, I give it some nods because there were some really good, like, some good deaths. There were some pretty good deaths in this one.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave it a 4. I gave it a 1 for
Can't hear you,
consistency.
big dog.
Muted.
Oh, shoot.
See, we're just making the joke. I do this all the time. I give it a 4. A 3 for intensity, 1 for consistency.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with mostly what you guys are saying. It definitely could have been more.
Yes.
But it was pulled back. I feel like that to kind of play with the tone of the movie, but we can get into that a little bit. But it's not as it's trying to be, I don't know, more serious in some ways. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't go overboard on what the deaths are, but still playing into that for sure. 4 from me.
Yeah, I agree.
Beautiful. Yeah. I think that kind of sits it right around there. So who is this horror for? Pretty much asking what kind of horror subgenre it belongs to, how to watch it, all that good stuff. Genre, we'll start there. I listed it supernatural.
Yeah, I was going to say supernatural horror. You know what I mean? Like it would be
disaster.
Like, yes.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely falls
and
under
I have an
disaster
interesting one
movies.
as well, too. But
teen thriller. Or teen and thriller.
Yeah.
And teen thriller.
Do you think this would be like a slasher?
That's what I was going to say, too. A slasher?
It's like a... It's like
a slasher. The Wind.
It's like a slasher chameleon. You know what I mean? As in, like it plays like a slasher, but it's not a slasher.
It's like some sort of presumed entity or thing or whatever is essentially chasing after. But yeah, you could loosely apply those kind of that logic to it, which is fun.
Like a slasher movie without having a slasher in it.
Right.
Yeah, because if you really love slashers but you hate to see the fucking killer, this one's for you.
Definitely for you, yes.
If you want to be constantly worried about like shit going wrong to kill you, this one's also for you.
This one's for you.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, if you want to like fucking worry about everything even more so, this is great.
See, I am a very big person that gets scared of like minor things that happen. I'm also like, what do you call me a lot?
Why are you putting this on me?
No, the person who like diagnoses themselves a lot.
Oh, you're a hypochondriac for sure.
I'm for sure.
Okay, yeah.
I have a tickle in my throat. I die. I'm dying in the next 2 seconds. So this movie's definitely like got me in its grip.
Oh sure, yeah. I felt the anxiety
when I told my wife we were doing these, and I was like, so I just got the movies. Do you want to watch them with me? And she was like, what makes you think that of horror movies those are the ones I like? She already freaks out about all that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Those weird little things about things being a certain way for safety reasons that are like wildly things that would never ever happen. So yeah, that was a big no.
Sure. All right, so then how to watch this? This is kind of I pose this question this way. Is it something that you want to watch in a kind of quiet and serious manner or a loud and schlocky manner? Like instead of, alone or with a group of people? I think it
goes for a serious tone, but I think loud and schlocky is the way to do it.
I think for a first time viewing, I think quiet and serious, more like kind of just watching and hanging out. And I don't know. I don't know if the first time, I don't know.
See, I think the rest of the films are loud and schlocky because of how they go about certain deaths. This one it's a little bit more serious and has spurts of like
gets to that level. Yeah, exactly.
See, but and maybe this is just being colored in by my thoughts after viewing the movie, but I feel like this is supposed to be like, just because the movie wants to be serious doesn't mean I owe it to the movie to also be serious watching it.
Damn, okay. See, but I feel like there's nothing like you by yourself in a quiet room, it's raining outside, and you put on this movie and it kind of just, you're alone with your thoughts and just, watching the movie from the beginning, because it sets the tone from the beginning. I feel like it would be great for like a quiet by yourself watch.
But first time, right? You want to do that on a second viewing.
No.
I mean, I could do that on other viewings and be happy with it, but like the last time when I just watched this for it, I was alone and kind of like into it, and it was fun, and it arose certain anxiety, especially with the opening, disaster, which we will, we'll get into it. So Is this for
That's
beginners? I say yes. I'd say
yes.
this is a fine beginner movie. More than fine. I'd say this is a great beginner movie, actually, if you want to like play around in the world of horror.
Totally. You're getting into horror. Final Destination is a great one to check out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and we're gonna go have a call out to the Chuddle Harbinger of Doom and see what they say. This is kind of our new who is it not forer. We have our little Mothman that flies in, the Doomsayer. Yeah. Probably would say anyone with a fear of flying, stay away.
If you've got a fear of flying, household instruments, coffee mugs, everything. This is a weird one where it's like, I guess like flying, there's definitely child death. Like they kind of point that out in the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Our teens' children.
If you're afraid of trains.
Yeah. Automobiles.
Well, I mean,
buses.
The big
In particular,
like,
buses
is the big thing. But like they put emphasis on a plane crash.
Yes.
Buses, yeah, for sure. I mean,
For
but
sure.
yeah, to hit the big end. I mean, if you're in the middle of an existential crisis, you may not want to watch this.
Yeah.
Or you might want to. I mean, it might put you in the right mindset.
This is weird. Obviously, like most horror movies are going to be dealing with death. This is literally dealing with death as
death and fate, and like
fate,
you are going to die, as opposed to like, you know, a classic slasher. It's like the death is the fun part of it. This is supposed to be like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, God, I'm going to die someday.
If you're like superstitious, like really superstitious, and you know, maybe you want to stay away from this. This could lead like, I'm welcoming this into my house.
If you frequently have dreams that come true,
yes,
probably don't watch this movie.
Yeah. If you're psychic or have premonitions, this is not the movie for you.
If you think you're psychic or think you have premonitions,
yeah. Also,
if you are
in that category, and if you're not sure, just maybe avoid it. All right,
an over worrier.
I think if you're even more skeptical than Cody, this movie's not for you, because you'll learn later on this movie there's going to be some flaws that may be pointed out.
I was saving
with
it.
Some designs. We can
saving it.
We'll save it till later.
Oh, Death's
we'll
design.
After the spoilers.
We will pull out the schematics for Death's design, certainly.
That's great. I can't wait to hear it.
Who picked this? Why in the history? Obviously, once again, this is kind of a group effort where we just kind of pulled our brains together and be like, what franchise are we jumping into? Personally, I mean, I remember more so, I think I was first introduced to the Final Destination series with actually 2.
Oh.
I don't know if I watched this before that. I think I watched 2 first and then went back. And
I definitely saw this in theaters. I remember like being, I think, middle school. What year did this come out?
You would have been about 14. Sure. This came out in 2000.
Okay. I think I feel like in my brain it was winter 2000 because I feel like I was in 8th grade. Doesn't matter. I remember thinking it was okay, but the bus thing in particular, just being at school like that Monday, being like, oh my God, this thing with the bus is fucking crazy. You got to see this movie. I don't know why that stood out amongst everything else.
Sure.
I feel that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I got introduced to this when it came out on DVD, and it was at Blockbuster. I watched the first original one.
Oh, yeah. First. Yeah, I think, I didn't see this in theaters. I definitely saw it on home video for sure. Because that poster and that cover of that DVD
had that kind of like I'd say very almost iconic to that time poster.
Yeah,
sexy teen thriller.
I did not see this one in theaters.
Yeah,
surprise. But I do think that Final Destination, just even as a franchise, is really interesting because I think it pierced into like the general zeitgeist of the time more than a lot of horror movies do. Well, because
you probably knew of Final Destination.
Well, but like of all of the like horror movie commercials and stuff that would have been on TV, I think of the Final Destination franchise when I'm driving behind a truck that's covered in logs and like stepping onto an escalator, and like it gets at something that, in a way that not a lot of other horror movies do, even just from the trailer, which I just think is really fascinating about this franchise specifically. And I'm certain we will talk about it more later.
Oh, yes. All right, so at this point, spoilers are ahead. Spoiler zone. All right, best time to pause the episode if we enticed you with this movie, and check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I probably should have said this right before I played that part. Because now we're going to go full force. We're starting with kind of a twist and a new little segment here. This is our brief AI recap. My AI has been named Ava, so I'm calling this Ask Ava, the synopsis of the movie. They don't always get it right. Final Destination centers around Alex Browning, a high school student, who is about to embark on a class trip to Paris with his classmates. As the group boards the plane, Alice experiences a chilling premonition of the aircraft's destruction, witnessing vivid details of a catastrophic explosion. Terrified by his vision, Alex panics and insists on leaving the plane. Several of his classmates, including his best friend Todd, girlfriend Claire, no, and a few others, reluctantly follow suit. Shortly after they disembark, the plane indeed explodes in a fiery inferno, killing everyone on board. While initially relieved to have escaped a tragic fate, the survivors soon discover that their escape was not a stroke of luck. They begin experiencing a series of ominous events and realize that death itself is determined to correct the imbalance caused by their escape from the plane crash. Ava's doing pretty well on this so far. We only got like that one little hiccup.
Just the girlfriend thing was incorrect.
As the movie progresses...
Majorly incorrect.
Yeah.
She wishes.
She does.
I mean, I don't know, but like...
She wants that mouth breather.
By mid-movie, she's throwing baby around in dialogue pretty willy-nilly.
Yes.
Well...
Excuse me?
As the movie progresses, one by one, the survivors meet gruesome and bizarre deaths that are seemingly orchestrated by an unseen force. Death's design manifests through a series of interconnected events, using everyday objects, situations, and circumstances to claim its victims. Each death is elaborately staged, showcasing the film's creative and often shocking death sequences. With mounting paranoia and desperation, Alex and Claire, who have developed a deep bond throughout their ordeal, attempt to unravel the mysterious patterns of Death's plan in a race against time. They seek the help of a mortician named William Bloodworth, who possesses insight into the workings of Death's design. That's not
true.
So,
that's false.
No, not correct.
Yeah, that's kind of the other...
They break into, a place, and this guy's just there and goes...
hanging out.
Hi.
Yeah.
And... happens to know, like, he's the doomsayer in this.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to know how death works? Go ask your local mortician.
They're around it.
They're around it all the time.
Trust me.
But the way that he talks, we're probably getting it, but the way that he talks about it in this is like he's BFFs. Like he went to college with death. And he's just
he fucking loved death.
Yeah, like they've been hanging out.
Oh, for sure.
Poker nights regularly.
As the survivors desperately try to break the chain of fate, they face a constant struggle between their own choices and the inevitable force that pursues them. Along the way, they uncovered clues and patterns, discovering that death will not be cheated and will claim its victims in the order they were meant to die on the ill-fated plane. Ultimately, in a gripping climax, Alex and Claire confront death itself in a final battle for survival. Their resilience and ingenuity are put to the test as they fight to outsmart and defy the seemingly unstoppable force that seeks to claim their lives. Final Destination leaves viewers questioning the nature of fate, the randomness of life, and the chilling concept that death can have a design of its own. The film combines elements of suspense, horror, and psychological torment to deliver a chilling exploration of mortality and the impossibility of escaping one's destiny. Ava did pretty good on this one.
Actually, pretty decent. Yeah,
definitely.
Good.
Yeah.
That got me so passionate about this movie. Like, fuck yeah.
Spark something.
Wait a
right?
second.
Yeah, that was a good kind of
Wait a second, Brian. Is Ava learning?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Nope. Not even close.
Don't worry about it. All right. Before we jump into the thick of it, we're going to go into our IMDb behind the scenes, the top 7 That number comes up a lot in the movie. What's the movie about? Little behind the scenes stuff shit. Okay. The story was originally going to be the concept for an episode of The X-Files, which was inspired by another movie, Sole Survivor from 1984. In this movie, a woman who was the sole survivor of a plane crash starts to be haunted by the dead people that death uses temporary as vessels to try to kill her, to correct its plan, and killing everyone who suspects about it. Yeah.
It's a weird movie.
Strange.
At about the 4-minute mark in the opening scene, Devon Sawa was supposed to pretend to be asleep, with the alarm clock and all that shit. He had actually fallen asleep for 4 hours.
Oh, shit.
Authentic. That's method acting at its best.
Yeah. Apparently, they just let him sleep there. And then the shot of Alex's bedside clock, which fades from the 1 a.m. to the 1:80, took 5 days to get correct.
What?
I would give up after day 2. I'd be like, we're not getting this, guys.
Sorry.
It's just not possible.
It's kind of lame, but I like it at the same time. I was like, oh, that's great.
It's a good kind of cheese. It's a really good
That's what
kind
they
of
were going for. After 5 days, they were like, some guy needs to say this is kind of lame, but they like it at the same time.
I'm not some guy.
The exterior of Mrs. Luton's house was built in 5 days, and the residents of Vancouver didn't want the filmmakers to blow it up as they thought it was a nice house.
Okay.
That's kind of
Apparently they blew that
endearing.
thing up. Yeah. The numerous appearances of 180 in the film refer to the film's original title of Flight 180. New Line decided to rename the film to Final Destination through fear of confusion with other films like Air Force One and Con Air.
Better name. Final Destination's a way better name than Flight 180.
Flight 180 sounds like the name of the episode for the X-Files.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Features the shortest opening disaster in the film series. The plane crash lasts 2 minutes. So that's what you have to get ready for. The disasters become a little bit longer.
Yes.
In the first draft of the script, the survivors that get off the plane were 7 strangers. But due to teen slashers' popularity at the time, the survivors were changed to the high school class. And Alex was almost killed 7 times. He was almost run over by a train, almost electrocuted while saving clear, nearly killed in an explosion, almost impaled in the face by blunt branches, almost drowned after a tree fell on him in a puddle, and almost run over by a bus. And he was almost crushed by a neon sign. So again, 7.
Oh.
You'd think death would be better at this.
What about the plane that he almost blew up on? Does that not count because he dreamt about it?
Yeah.
I guess that's a springboard.
All right,
that's his
now.
freebie.
Yeah.
That's his freebie.
That's the freebie.
Did you say the wooden thing that he almost rolled down the hill?
That's classic.
Okay, because that moment, as soon as I saw watching this, I was like, oh, I remember that. I don't know if it was in the trailer or what, to have been. But
So that's it. Let's get into our first 6 tonight. Our scenes, our lines, interactions, characters, skills, kills, gore, craftsmanship, all that good stuff. I mean, to start it right off, opening title cards, I mean, I kind of like those. It has a lot of foreshadowing of the deaths that are about to happen in the movie.
I think they're over long and kind of weird. And the most book flapping in opening credits I've ever seen.
I love a good book flap.
A lot of book flapping. Yeah, I guess if you're when we did Who's the Horror for, wind-blown shit would have been a good answer.
If you just like that wind shit,
You're gonna love this.
See, I love this opening credit. I think it's mostly having to do with the score. I think the score really makes it for me. There's their Final Destination theme, though you didn't like it.
I'm just usually generally not a fan of opening credits. Just like get me into the movie already. I can find out later who's
Put
in
it in the closing.
Totally. Yeah.
What is this, 1952?
Right?
No, it's 2000s. This is what they were doing then too.
I like some of the ominous stuff in the beginning of it. I think like by the midpoint, when all the books start turning into like very weird biblical references and like all those, this kid's 17. So like it would have been funnier if it was just like normal books, tour books, and then like a penthouse or something, or like because that's in his room.
Well, he keeps the penthouse hidden.
Well, sure, that would be funnier. Is that what you wanted? You wanted the opening to be funnier?
Not funnier. It's just I don't know more. I guess it's heavy. It's incredible.
Needed more boobs.
Yeah.
I think the opening credits needed more boobs.
Just a floating nipple across the entire screen.
It's like 10 minutes of wind. Where's the boobs?
Wasn't it blowing up?
This is not what I came for.
I think just in context to our main character and in his bedroom, it's like it was believable stuff because it was like about the French Revolution. And he's about to be on this flight and all these things, and then it just takes this 90-degree turn into like Baroque and like early Renaissance, just like paintings of hell and devils and demons, where I'm like,
just like
all right,
pages from the Necronomicon, just like what movie is
I know,
this?
that sounds like my room in high school.
I don't know. I watched it twice and tuned out both times because it is over long.
Right.
Unless you're into like a little weird paper flipping boy, which is all cool.
Oh, that's great.
A little book flapping freak.
Sets up our main villain, Wind.
No shame.
All right. How I like another part. So all that kind of happens. It's, Alex getting ready, packing the suitcase. And I wrote this as a total dad thing to say. How'd my suitcase work out for you? Like, that's like, you guys, are you prepared to say that to your kid when they're using your suitcase?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
There's a lot of funny little things like that the line I had was the line that the dad says, "Oh, you've got your whole life ahead of you." And Devon Sawa takes that like it's like some ominous thing. We're like, why are we doing? There's been no reason. We just met these people. Like, why is this a sudden?
No, Devon Sawa starts at like 100 and nervous. That shit.
I love it. You saw the trailer. You know what this is about. Let's fucking do it.
We got to establish he's scared of
the whole
everything.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the I don't know if you guys noticed the Pecker poster.
I did.
On his wall.
I was going to make a comment about that, but I didn't know if anyone knew Pecker.
Yeah, the 2000. I don't think I saw it, but I can't help but remember a movie called Pecker came
About a
out
photographer.
in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
James Pecker.
James Pecker.
I will say I want this like a prequel, not a prequel, but like a movie that will go side by side to this one where we have the lens through the mom, because I feel so bad for the mom. She had the little thing on the luggage, the little tape. What is that called?
The luggage tag.
The luggage. Wow, the luggage tag. And he's like, "Mom, don't do it. It's superstition." And then she just rips it. Later, she finds out like there's a fucking blast in the airplane. Down. She's probably depressed out of her mind from there on out.
But they take it off at the airport before they put it on the plane.
I don't know. I'm superstitious like that, and I grew up having to keep that tag.
I'm just saying,
that's
is
the whole
rule...
reason this happened.
But like,
she
is the
killed
rule
39 people?
200 and something people.
287
that's true.
people or something like that.
287, yeah.
Is the rule that it can only be taken off by somebody putting another one on right after that?
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. I know for a fact that woman...
I've never heard of that.
I think that's the only way it's ever been done
because
in history.
he said this specific luggage tag got it back here safely, so it must be good luck, right? But they're putting a new one on.
They're going to rip it off anyways. He's 17. He has no concept of international flying. Like
that's true.
But I will give it to this.
Devon Sawa.
Like that mom's never going to touch another piece of luggage as long as she lives.
No. She ripped
he had
it.
to pack his stuff himself before he flies to France. We'll get to that. But the Devon Sawa, I mentioned it, but he does the most mouth breathingest acting I've ever seen in my life. When I noticed it on my second watch, I noticed it right away. I think the only times he closes his mouth is when he's like looking into the middle distance while Claire's talking to him. Every other time he's just kind of like standing there,
mouth agape. I'm not gonna lie. Listen. I'm a boy who like had a crush on Devon Sawa, still does. But I think that's his acting. he did a lot of that like in Idle Hands, like just mouth agape like all the time.
Yeah.
So I tried to remember though. Does he do that now? Did he do it in Chucky?
No, he didn't do it in Chucky.
Okay.
Someone told him to close his mouth.
He learned to close his mouth.
Hey, just a quick
It's probably
note.
one of those things
He's just
where
finding
he looks
himself.
back.
He's like, maybe what if I can be like known as the guy just has his mouth open? And
Yeah, I
like,
think you're right though, because when I pictured young Devin Sawer, the stuff I saw, man,
You
that was
picture
the
him-
same thing. Idle Hands and
Just mouth agape.
What SLC?
mouth
Punk?
agape.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Huh?
Too many hits of acid.
I mean, then we're gonna lead up to that all runs by and stuff, and then we get into our airport. I mean, my next note is that the cool teacher, quote unquote,
Tells the Harry Christian
I don't know
to
why
fuck
she
off.
has to. Yeah, what was that about?
The toot on that
Leave my
teacher was
student alone.
amazing.
Do not harass him.
Yeah,
I was like, whoa.
awesome.
I will not be convinced that the part where they're getting off the bus at the airport, where we just hear the white zone is for loading and unloading only, is not an airplane reference.
It's that whole shot.
Yes.
Everything about that felt very
It was
airplane.
very riveting.
Very
Yeah.
airplane.
So I mean, it probably it could have been. So yeah, we have cool teacher mouthing fuck off. I don't know. I think I had another note that the JFK flippy board thing, that was cool.
Yeah,
That was cool. That doesn't happen anymore, right?
Yeah,
No, it's all
screens.
electronic screens now. It's lame.
Like if
I don't
I
know
saw
if,
that,
like-
I'd freak out. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Even though that's probably natural.
if that's like a known board, it could still like be up at JFK and just have the one thing up there as a cool thing to check out.
oh, true.
Departed.
But it's probably broken. I don't know, seems like it. But yeah, then my next note is just the teacher breaks up the brothers fighting, but doesn't care about the two people just fucking sitting on top of each other making out.
Fucking like having sex, like penetrating each other.
Full squatting on each other.
Also, we missed the part where we as an audience found out that Clear is a smart person because she's reading.
Before we
Oh,
get
she's
into
reading?
that, can
And
we just
answers the
talk
question
about
right.
the fact?
Yes.
Can we just talk about how several people say Claire in this movie?
I thought
but
her
it's
name was
spelled-
Claire until I looked it up on IMDb.
It's Clear. It's
Clear Rivers.
Clear
Clear Rivers.
Clear Rivers.
What?
Brutal.
I can't.
So good.
I did like. All right,
Amazing.
man. Obviously, he has the premonition, but the fight with Carter's character in this movie is the most insanely aggressive character. Anything sets him off. Like just the sheer, just I don't know. That entire scene where it just pops him directly in the face is so funny to me. I laugh every time I've seen this movie on just how blatantly like, what the fuck? Well,
that man does not stop being a dick from the first frame till the last one. He is a complete dick.
Assault and battery, attempted murder. We've got him on so many charges.
Like you need to grab his character and place him in like a Stephen King novel. Like I feel like it's just
sometimes they come back.
It's why it's so strange that later, what's his name? Sean William Scott?
Billy.
Billy
and Clear go in the car with him later when he's like in his madness. I don't know why they do that because everything
I forgot why
in their lives
they probably
up
got
till
threatened.
Because Alex knows who's going to die next. I don't know. For some reason, Clear convinced them that
To go to him because he's hiding or something.
Alex is correct and they need to go find him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to say Billy's probably thinking that inside the car is the safest place because normally he's trying to avoid being hit by the car. So if he's inside,
That's
he's
true.
safe.
Oh, that's so true.
The sweet car.
Carter is the worst, and Carter is the perfect name for like a dick whitehead jock.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I like the FBI agents in this too, because you can clearly tell which some of the lines that were written for Mulder and the other ones that were written for Skull. Like it was like you could tell this was like X-File, and they were like, do you think they're going to notice if we keep it? No, don't. Just keep it in. Just throw it in. Keep it in there.
Yeah, no, they were funny, and they're probably also like they also feel like, God damn it, our case involves all these teens we have to deal with.
So many teens.
Like imagine which also I had a point apart where you see the two of them making out or whatever. I was like, at this point in the film, I'm thinking how terrible it would be to have to chaperone this trip.
The worst.
Imagine fucking going to Paris with 40
high schoolers.
hormonal teenagers. Like,
Nope.
They only have two chaperones.
Yeah, two teachers.
Two.
That's it.
That's it.
Because this is
That's
this
insane.
is 2000.
Oh, yeah,
this is
it's
like
like
99, 2000 when you could actually like get away with having like under about 50 teenagers and 2 people
Yikes.
watching them, and that was totally fine. Like that was just like above board. Everybody's parents signed off for it. Permission slips were filled out.
yeah, no problem.
yeah,
Can't believe
it was
we're
a way
at
of
the
life.
age where we're saying it was so different and wild when I was a
Back
kid.
in my day,
But I mean, is it what is it? The premise of what's that Spider-Man movie? He's going overseas on a school trip. How many of them per chaperone are in that?
oh,
They're all hormonal teens, aren't
that's
they?
true.
I don't know.
Well, that is a good point because, and we pointed out when we were watching it too, that I had the opportunity when I was in high school to go on this like extracurricular trip to Italy, and there were, I think, 3 adults to 40 kids in that.
Wow.
So
Probably like the norm or whatever. It'd be terrible. I
they
think
just
it still
scared
probably
us.
happens.
They just scared us with saying, if you guys fuck up, then we will make your parents pay for a last minute, most expensive ever ticket back immediately.
Yeah, I would be on my best.
well, and
behavior.
these are
So-
also like they are teens, so they'll probably get into some shit. But they're like young adults, you know what I mean? It's not like you're bringing a pack of wild dogs or something. It's
Not middle schoolers.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's what you're saying, right?
Oh,
That's
no.
true. Could you imagine?
See,
could you imagine
I-
that they were just middle schoolers? If this movie was just about a bunch of middle
Fucking
schoolers,
Christ.
Stop it. Oh my God. That'd actually be more effective, I think.
my
I think I'd believe it a little bit more.
oh, that would be so
But
wild.
I kind of feel like this cast needed like a schlubby character. Like they're from Long Island. I needed some like
Yeah.
Italian like meathead
That's
in this
very
movie
true.
because everyone's just like strong. Like I mean, they're all like 25-year-olds playing 16-year-olds
Yes.
right now. So
That's what it
but
felt like.
they're all just like hot teenagers. Like
Yes.
they're all like strong jawline. They're like I'm like no, we
yes.
need like someone
The
schlubby.
character
Billy
of
should have been
Billy.
a schlubby nerd.
He was
should not
supposed
have
to
been
be.
Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be, and then I forget what the thing was, but Sean William Scott.
And not a
ended up doing it.
single
And
New
he
York
was
accent.
fine, but that's not where he shines.
It didn't
you know?
work. With
Lost
the,
all
yeah,
his
it was
riz.
ridiculous.
My God.
Which is weird because Sean William Scott is the douchebag in movies.
Right. He
Yes.
would have been a better Carter, though. Like,
Yeah, I think
Totally.
so.
It's also, man, when they board the plane, and obviously, like seeing the trailer, you know what's going to happen, and they still show the baby, and they still show the mentally impaired man.
Well, that's the point.
It's
Yeah.
just like that. You're sitting there going like, oh wow,
They knew what they were
totally
doing.
Be a
They
fucked up
knew.
god to take down this plane.
Dope.
A really
I know.
a
fucked
really
up god.
fucked up god.
I was like, oh my God.
Well, before that, don't forget.
Oh my fucked up
oh,
god.
my fucked up God.
This movie should also be for all the poop freaks out there because there's a whole shit dialogue scene.
Irritable
That's
syndrome.
ridiculous that I do not
nasty stench
remember.
in the back of your nose or whatever, and they'll be thinking of you.
I love that
Yeah,
Todd's
I was-
pickup line.
They have the conversation and then they cut to them in the bathroom doing it.
Yeah, and then we see Todd sit on the toilet later too.
Yes.
Wow. All is he
but
doing
when
is
they're in
There's
the
a whole lot of poop
bathroom
stuff going
doing
on.
it, when they're in the
John
bathroom
Denver's
pooping, that
playing.
is where we get the spooky John Denver, where again it's like you know what you're in
the
for.
ghost of John.
So hearing a song where someone who wrote it died in an airplane should freak you out, buddy.
To the point of the ghost of John Denver haunts Alex the entire film.
I haven't seen all the movies, but the third one has the best song.
I think
Nice.
so too, yeah.
So I mean, plane crash. This is our big disaster.
It happens
How
fast,
you
but
feel about
it's
that?
fucking
We're in it.
intense.
Yeah.
I mean, like
It is.
Mhm.
It
it's
is.
like you get obviously explosions. You get people sucked out of plane. They get sucked off screen.
Yeah.
There it is.
Surprisingly, with the explosions, you get goo. You get viscera. Like I think there's like a canister that explodes that just pop
Oh,
fizzles
yeah.
fucking person pate all over the cabin.
Just splats.
So that's one of our big goo marks in the
Yeah.
it's literally like
Honestly,
a
it's one of the
canister of
big goo
paint, red
marks of the
paint
film.
Yeah,
explodes on the
all
wall.
over the wall was like, oh my god.
I was like, oh,
Okay,
I forgot about
yeah.
that.
I was like, oh okay. Honestly, the one that gets me is, dude, Alex with the fucking fuel just on his face.
Oh.
Like,
Yes.
that Oh, that entire sequence to this day gives me flamingo follicles. I don't know what it is, because like even watching 1,000 times, like there's very few films.
I know what it is.
Well, I know. Well, watching as many horror movies as we do, it's like a very desensitizing thing, especially after seeing like Final Destination so many times. Every time I see that, I get the same reaction every time, and it's just that. Ugh.
I honestly think it's because we stay on him for quite a bit of time.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
stays
you
on it
watch
longer
him,
than you're used to.
You watch him like just get devoured and feel the pain, even though he's not really reacting that much because it's probably like a dummy or something. I don't know, but
no, that was Devon Sawa
actually on fire.
It makes you sit in that moment and feel that like, oh my god, that would fucking suck.
But even before this, I think. Sorry.
No. You go ahead. No. I have a note I'll remember.
Thank you. I do think that there's so much suspense even before the actual accident, because for me, I get very nervous on airplanes. I just feel like I'm a mess. I'm just like telling everybody my flaws here. But
please,
I get
people do that. What do you do? Anything to deal with it? Do you drink? People do that. Not that I encourage you to do that, but
music. I turn on music and I just like, go to my Spotify, like whatever I download. But like this opening section where like they're lifting off, you can obviously see the panic in Alex's face and just body. And as it goes off, you get a view from the outside as it like lifts off. Like I just feel even that in itself is very effective, and I think they did something right there.
Yeah, this is like 100% something that has happened with us. Like not to the point of course, the entire plane is
you got a premonition.
But
we've escaped death, and it's after us constantly.
But it's definitely
was it about this podcast?
Oh my god,
that's the reason
it happens right now.
See, no, I'm the worst kind of psychic because I dream about the future, but I don't remember it till it happens. So it's doesn't do anything.
Like fucking bus is coming at you.
Worst psychic.
Oh yeah. I think one of the things that this movie did, and I don't remember the marketing towards it, but I feel like I've definitely since then, is that it's like the premise of this movie before going into it. So all that feeling of like all this kind of over the top dread is just like because the filmmakers we know what's going to happen. They're like, let's just pile it on, make it feel dreadful.
Totally.
Yeah,
that's what's interesting about
everything's ominous.
That's what's interesting about this franchise in general is that the way it was advertised, even from the first film, the big incident you already know way ahead of time. Like every single installment, when you see that trailer, it's just on that crazy thing.
It's a plane crash. Plane crash.
This is going to happen. So like it's amazing on one aspect that you still get that suspenseful because you know it's coming. It's like you're on that roller coaster going all the way to the top, and you know you're about to go on a crazy ride. The second you buckle in, you're just like, okay, all right.
Because you know they're gonna show that disaster. It's like we're gonna see this fucking happen.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's where you get like the slasher mentality, because you know exactly what's gonna happen, and you just have to be in it and experience it.
Agree.
And it is. I think this. It kind of. I don't know, man. It kind of dives into, like, it sounds weird, but like early internet, like, disaster footage, you know what I mean, where like you saw, this is again obviously pre 9/11, but like having like crazy footage like Ogrish or like early 4chan days and stuff like that, where they'd have like this gnarly car accident or like this crazy thing happened or this explosion happened, where it's like you're it's the voyeuristic version of that. And I think Cody, actually to bring up your comment about how widespread this movie became, is that because it wasn't a dude in a mask, like it's just death. And like we're all very voyeuristic when it comes to natural disasters and disaster things anyways. So having that as like the main like evil dude, death, as it's something that we all combat.
It's the element of that it could happen to you realistically too.
The machine, the how it happens is all the spectacle of the movie, but it's like, oh yeah, you could die in a plane crash. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
my fucking computer could explode and a piece of shrapnel into my throat, and then I could blood around the house, and then get a knife put into my...
We'll talk about that when we get there.
I will say it is very strange to see how lax they are when Alex is finally like, this plane's gonna blow up, and it's like, okay, buddy, calm down, or else we're gonna take you out. Where like drugs? Now it's like, everybody out. Like,
now, had he said there was a man on the wing, different story entirely.
Yes.
But jumping up and saying, this plane is going to explode.
Yeah.
Pre 9/11 world.
And then getting dragged out. And then Claire just kind of just going of her own accord. I like the fact that she was like watching everything. Oh, Claire. Sorry. Claire. Clearly, it's not Claire. So like Claire sees everything and kind of just like, I like the fact that she says that she felt what he felt on some kind of base connection. She's like, but she couldn't click it until he started saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect nothing less from somebody named Clear River.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true.
She's in tune.
But let's also talk about like Carter, who's his first instinct is like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of him right now.
Fuck up! I want to go to Paris. That dude wants to just live the life he wants to live.
Not gonna die.
Pissed off at everyone else because they keep fucking it up.
This is my life. I live my life. I'm fucking dude. It's
that man lives his life a quarter mile at a time.
Okay, you cannot tell me that Carter is not juicing in high school. Like, this dude is on
right, but it's like not working because he's clearly not
he's
buff.
Not buff.
But, like,
he's doing it wrong.
He does it to sleep.
Yeah, right. So yeah, they get off the plane, the fucking explosion happens. Do you think it would blow out the windows like that?
No,
right?
Absolutely not.
That's what I said.
No
I was
way.
like, this is all for show.
Also, sound travels at a specific speed that is much slower than what we see in this movie.
Totally
yeah, exactly.
I felt bad for Billy, though, because Billy literally accidentally locked himself in the bathroom. So, like, I mean, obviously,
die either way.
He was going to die either way. But it was really funny that, like, obviously he gets on the plane, but, like, he missed the flight because he was taking a dump. And then, like, he couldn't...
and got locked in the bathroom, according to his. Yeah,
I do genuinely feel bad for the teacher though, because she told the other guy to go on instead, and now from there on out, she's like, "It's my fucking fault."
I mean, she still ends up dying.
I don't either.
She tells a child, "You get away from me! You scare the shit out of me," or something like that.
Yeah, like I was like the way that she treats Alex afterwards, it's way too much.
Fuck that lady.
That is fair. That is fair.
But the survivor's guilt that I think that they kind of really play on is like, like soul crushing. Like when you like that phone conversation that she has in her house is like so.
That's all believable.
Very believable.
Like I've grown up here. Everything I see used to make me happy, but now it just reminds me of this shit. Yeah. Totally get it. But then to be like, this fucking kid, oh my God, he scared the shit out of me.
Fuck out of here.
Alex and Todd both seem, especially Todd for just having lost his brother,
all right.
seem remarkably fine.
Yeah, that's true. He does seem okay.
We got to move it along, Sam. It's 39 days later, 39 survivors. Dead. We got to move it along.
When they're
gonna catch a
getting
Yankees
interviewed
game.
initially, he's like, my brother's the one who told me to leave. And then I left. Wow. Like,
you sounded like Jerry Seinfeld there for a little bit.
What's the deal with that?
What's the deal with it?
His voice really threw me off. Actually, the second time I was like, this guy could have played Peter Parker at this time in his life.
Totally.
Oh, very much so. I would have seen that. I really thought so. We have the memorial, the eagle statue unveiling. I thought that eagle statue was going to kill someone somehow.
It just falls on two people.
For sure. Carter goes to chip his name into or his girl's name into it. It falls,
and the beak impales him directly in the heart.
See, it's like, but we can't. We would see that coming. We can't see that coming. That's the whole
too
thing.
Obvious.
Here, right?
It's too obvious.
Exactly.
See, this movie is missing one major thing, though. I really needed a Creed original song for this soundtrack.
It didn't have... Well, it has one song that works, but it wasn't an original song for it, I don't think.
We need Creed.
It was like somebody heard that Nine Inch Nails song, was like, they say that thing. We want that to be the name of our movie. Let's put it in there.
I think
Carter doesn't listen to Nine Inch Nails.
Well, that dude does not listen to Nine Inch Nails.
He was listening to Creed.
He was listening to Creed.
Yeah.
Although, we'll just have to wait until the 30th anniversary and then we'll just have to hire Creed to do a song.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
It's so because for a Christian band, they were
Creed.
like doing a song for Scream, for Halloween H2O. I was like, okay,
Scream 3.
Scream.
Scream 3, yeah, Scream 3.
Skratham.
Maybe they weren't hot enough yet. Were they? I forget their reign of when they were lasting. Nah, 2000s would have been heavy Creed,
They're
right?
still pretty hot now.
Yeah. Well, are they? I
Can you
haven't been
name
up on
a
my
Creed song?
Creed.
Can you sing his Creed song right now?
Sam?
With arms wide open.
What's the one they did? What if?
What if?
Fucking what if?
No. Guys, Creed is not. That was not Scott Stapp.
It is Scott Stapp.
Oh, it is. Oh, hey, Scott. Thanks for coming on. Surprise.
Thanks for
God.
Huge fan.
I love the facial movements you make
Okay.
when you talk.
I love your facial. What I find really interesting about, we got to talk about the baddie, Death in this.
Wind.
Wind.
And
So,
shadow.
okay.
But not like the happening wind. Like, this is scary. Like, fuck
So let's
you
talk
up.
about Todd's death. Let's
Yeah.
get into our first death making its mark and trying to correct things. Todd's death.
Blue toilet water.
So I'll say I have another little piece of trivia to slip in here. The original plan was to have death as a much more obvious entity in the film.
I can sense
So,
that with
yeah.
the weird shadows they see.
And you
like,
get that with Todd's death. So at the point of Todd's death, they had that in there. So that's why you get the biggest
the shadow
thing. And that's why also I feel like why you get the water receding
I was going to make a point on that.
afterwards. Because it's like, why the fuck does it do that?
This is
Yeah,
all this death
exactly.
care.
It's the death trying to frame Todd
this
as
is
a suicide.
No, Sam.
Right.
Sam, no, you nailed it on the head. In this Final Destination, Death, for whatever reason, literally is trying to make this look like a suicide, and then later in the film frames someone for murder.
What's
Who's
the
that
frame? I guess that's just because Alex shows up, right?
I don't know that you can say Death framed him for murder. He framed himself for murder.
Yeah,
that boy framed
He
himself.
walked in, he touched all the
He
shit.
helped a lot.
Very good point.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, so-
I mean,
He
this
ran
is
into a murder scene and touched everything.
he ran back into a murder scene and
just
touched everything
fingerprints
after being arrested.
everything, like just all over the place. No, but it's funny though, because in obviously not a huge sport, but like a lot of the other things are incidences that happen to these accidents, and this is one of the only installments where it's a nefarious purpose to it's supposed to be a suicide, and then cleaning up its tracks, like the water receding back into the tank is it doesn't need it's fucking Death. It doesn't need to do that. It's just being like, oh man, they're never gonna know
And
it's
it's like-
me.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where I almost feel my overarching theory for this movie is that Death is just an asshole and just decided to let all these people live so that it could have a little fun and go back and kill them all again. That's because you can't tell me that it was not deliberate to take this long to actually re-kill everybody.
39 days.
You could have just done it all on the way home from the airport. If you really wanted them all to die, if it was that important to you, you could just have them all get into accidents on the way home, and that's it. But instead, it takes months for Death to get around to killing 6 people. Well, not even 4 people, really, at the end of the day.
I wonder if it's because his quota's so big that for him to backtrack, it's going to take him like a an actual 39 business days to kind of.
I like to think of Death as an overworked, clerical person. He's got this stack of things and he has to design how everyone's gonna fucking die. So it's okay, we gotta do a fucking plane crash. I gotta check my roster, make sure all these people are on it. Wait, and then his secretary or someone comes to him and is just so Death, remember that plane you took down? 6-7 people got off of it. What? Fuck. I'm still dealing with some shit over here. I'm trying to design this whole fucking like sea world thing I got going on. So I got to fucking figure out. Okay, all right. Fuck these guys. I'm gonna do something special. And
well,
it's like he writes it out and like plans it.
Time, like that's overtime that he's not getting paid for. That he's doing.
That's true.
So it's a little sloppy. It's like he's kind of trying to put it together real quick and then like improvising on the scene. Yeah, man.
It's like I don't know, toilet water.
This is his hobby.
It's not like he's had billions of people to practice on before this. Like,
but, see, I was thinking we had multiple deaths and they were all overworked.
Like,
whatever.
What was that show, Dead Like Me, where it's all about the Grim Reapers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or is it like when Peter Griffin in Family Guy encountered Death and Death like sprained his ankle and was laid out on the couch for a month?
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
See, my vision of Death is just that coyote from the Looney Tunes like things. He's just constantly putting bombs everywhere and just exploding himself.
Yeah, bumbling death.
A little mumbly bumbly, yeah.
Mumbly death. How would you like to how do you
picture
how
your
do you
death?
envision your death? Yeah, exactly. Let us know. All right, so Todd does this whole like slips on the water, like okay. So here's the other big thing about these movies and like the death scenes. You know they're coming. It's built up to let you know they're coming, but it's also built up to be like,
how's it going to happen?
How's it going to happen?
Because it's all just
here's
ordinary
things. Here's this little. What's it leading to? He's holding a razor blade. Is he gonna?
Yeah, it's like little teases here and there. They're like, you thought this was this? No.
But this film also loves to throw in. And I know they get into it again more once we push on in the series, but they play around within this of like 180. The imagery for 180 is just throughout the movie a lot. The number 7 comes up a lot. With this in the opening, Todd foreshadows his own death while aboard the plane. So after asking to, he's like, no, don't do it. And like does like a little like cut it like this and like hang his head like trading the seats. Yeah. And then during the opening credits, 2 of the deaths in the film are foreshadowed. There's a hanging doll, which one is pretty clear, and something else we'll get into in the other one. And in the name, Todd's name is spelled with 1 D, and in German, Todd with 1 D means death.
Oh, so this is like a Darth Vader situation.
How so?
Vader.
Well, in the sense that Vader is father in Dutch, so like,
okay,
his name is Darth Dad.
That makes yes, I get it. I was like, well, he's not a robot, man, cyborg thing. But yeah, so
see, I thought I was about to spoil Empire Strikes Back for a second.
Oh my god!
I mean, I have. It's there's a little Empire tattoo there, so
perfect.
Star Wars is fine.
So when Todd's eyes go into his death real quick, when they turned red, like bloodshot real quick, I just thought that was a real cool effect and pop. Effective. Squeamish.
I did really appreciate that because that is what would happen if he died in this way.
Oh,
like nice. All the capillaries in your eyes break when you are being strangled. So
how do you know?
Like, don't worry about it. So I appreciated that little hint of realism that came in when he was trying to escape using only his feet and not his hands.
Right.
He was slippery. All the shampoo and conditioner and soap got everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You couldn't get a grip. Death planned that.
Was part of the Rube Goldberg machine was all the soaps and shampoos are on the ground now.
No.
See, here's what happened. Death has gotten bored with how it's killed. Up until this time, it's done all standard killings.
Plane crash. There's so many
all
plane
this
crashes.
Is like, I'm gonna he just discovered a Rube Goldberg machine. And like,
I'm
just
make
got
it look
really
like this
into
kid
him.
Killed himself.
Like, fuck it. What else are you gonna do? You've been killing forever. Might as well have fun with it.
I like to think he's getting himself pumped at like when he like finishes the design from when he's like, oh fuck yeah.
He throws on Party Hard.
He calls his wife into the room. He's like, honey, look, he's gonna die in the bathtub, but I did it.
I did it. Well, what are you gonna do about the water? I'm gonna make the water go away. Why?
Don't you do all deaths? Couldn't you die anyway and that'd be you? Get out of here.
Fucking come on. I'm trying to be sneaky. I'm trying a new thing. All right. And then, my next note is about the mortician, Bloodworth. and his entrance from like a cave crypt that's attached to the morgue. He comes in from like out of nowhere and starts talking about death.
Just has one big ass monologue.
Is that not what you would do in his scenario, though? Bunch of kids, well, 2 kids, break in in the middle of the night by going through the ceiling, Mission Impossible style.
Mhm.
And then, like, if you knew that they were there, wouldn't you hide somewhere so you can scare the shit out of them while they are literally surrounded by dead bodies? I would.
I mean, I'm there with you.
But I mean, what
He
other
comes
way
out of like a
would...
cave, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. He comes out of like
he,
this
like,
weird like
dusts
cave
underneath.
crypt thing. Like if you look at it like to the side, it literally looks like this hole in the wall.
It's a
that
morgue
leads
slash
to-
haunted house at the same time. But I'm thinking like, what other way would you be able to write in order to tell the characters, this is death. It's an entity. It's after you, you know?
Use like a traditional prophet,
Old man
tarot
just
reader
on the
type
side of
of
the road.
deal. A crazy person on the street.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they made it a mortician because it's like, well, clearly this guy's an expert. So
On death. He knows death.
Candyman
Yeah.
is
And-
the most well versed in death.
Very true.
Yeah.
Andy Man.
I feel like,
He
he
played the
he
Candyman.
plays it in such a way that's very menacing and like all knowing of what death is and all that kind of stuff. I think they could have had it too if it was a mortician that was not as over the top as he plays it.
Yeah.
And being a more matter kind of a fact. I've seen crazy stuff happen with death and almost not like it could have been, I guess, more believable, playable.
Oh, yeah. No,
And not the
Not
way
like
he does
a
it.
little
from Friday
hokey.
the 13th.
But it was a good hokey. You know what I mean? I mean,
I love
With
that.
a-
I mean, I think
it's
it's
definitely
ridiculous.
hokey.
I forgot he's in
Um,
it from the beginning
with
because
a-
I forgot too, but his main like quote here that I just looked up
come
is
on.
the "In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps, and no escapes."
Unless you walk off the
unless
plane.
you walk off the plane. My second favorite quote from him is, what was it? If you think you can get away from it, but beware the risk of cheating the plan, disrespecting the design, could initiate a horrifying fury that would even terrorize even the Grim Reaper, and you don't even want to fuck with that man.
Yes.
yes, that's the classic
On a
ridiculous
shirt.
line that he
On a
delivers.
shirt. That's is
On
it
a
is it
shirt. I love
t-shirtable?
it.
That on a shirt.
Just that
I'd have
quote.
it.
Just the front of the shirt is just the entire monologue, and then on the back it's just
In Morse code.
and then just the photo of him with his weird finger going like, "I'll see you soon."
See, even better, what you do is you have the whole like paragraph of the monologue, except you have it shaded so it has like the skull on it, like from
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Okay, we're doing that, right?
I'd be down for
We're
that.
doing that, right?
Down for that.
Yeah, Tony Todd, Harbinger of Doom / Magic Mortician Death Oracle. That was my note.
I thought that was what reads on his business card.
Which, I mean, and then we get, there's when we get, our Final Destination 9 Inch Nails song and that whole fun scene of Billy
Oh,
just
hey, you know what's
bicycling
funny?
around.
The note apparently I made for that is preppy bad guy pulls up listening to 9 Inch Nails. Doubtful. Should have been 3 doors down.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
There you go.
100%.
All right, so this leads us to Terry's death and demise, where she gets hit by a bus.
That's my
Out of
note.
nowhere.
Bus, exclamation point.
Literally a bus out of nowhere going that speed because I don't know where it comes from.
That's not important. It's also not important that it's like driving into an intersection that fast.
Way crazy.
Not
This, wherever the Final Destination it happens in our multiverse, has the most irate, not professional bus drivers in history.
Worst bus driver.
bus drivers. Like most, honestly, anything operating heavy machinery.
This is actually takes place in the same world as Speed.
Oh my god.
It's the speed
the
bus
speed bus.
coming
Oh,
across.
no.
You blame
I
those
mean-
bus drivers. It's not their fault. That's on there making little balls roll around under gas pedals or whatnot.
I don't know. That person looked like they're going, 35, 40 in like a fucking tiny Main Street intersection.
In the bus's
Death did it.
in the bus's defense.
That's death, baby.
Not in the bus's
In the
defense.
bus's no one looks both ways. Like you were learned at such an early age.
Oh, she just steps off that
just
curve.
I just direct eye contact. She knows she's stepping off the curb and then literally says, drop fucking dead.
Oh yeah, that was the moment I was telling everybody about at school.
Well, I mean, okay, so the way that intersection is too, if you look at previously in the scene before, where the bus would have come from is like blocked off and under construction.
Yeah, it's
death, baby.
It's the bus to death. It's the Reaper bus.
I'm not.
It's like
I'm
the
not
Magic
saying
School
anything.
Bus, but a lot more fucked up.
I'm here for it,
Mhm.
but I think they hammer out it a little bit better in the later ones.
Oh,
they really,
yeah. I mean, by that they upgraded ambulances and a bunch of other.
They really
stuff.
figure out the deaths there a little bit better. But the surprise hit by bus, everyone's sprayed in blood. When Alex turns at one point, there's a little 7 on his cheek in blood.
What?
Yeah. And so there's when they step off the plane, there's like foreshadowing of more deaths. Terry and Billy's deaths are foreshadowed in those moments as well. There's a part where Terry's staring at Alex and there's a picture of a bus in the background behind her.
Wow.
So there's one more for Billy's. I'll explain once we get to Billy's death.
Wow.
At this point, I figured the FBI agents are having a real like Tucker and Dale versus Evil scenario where like now like this plane thing has happened. Now all these kids are just dying.
It's bad for them. They really don't do a good job at everything that happens in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
Also, I can't forget that one of the agents' name is Agent Shrek.
Yeah, it's Agent Shrek and Donkey.
Agent
Detective
Shrek,
Agent Shrek.
incredible.
They got beat.
On IMDb, his character name is not listed, and I think it must be because I immediately went to IMDb. I was like, did they just say Agent Shrek? And it's just the actor's name with no character.
So funny.
Poor guy.
I mean, like those guys are so incompetent at their job. They got beat by Alex in a canoe going across a lake.
Oh yeah, who clearly didn't know how to use a paddle. Did you see the way he was holding that thing? He never canoed in his life.
It took him 4 hours to get across that lake, and he still beat the cops.
I was gonna say that's good. The cops gave up on him. They circled back around. They kept looking around. Finally got over there.
What I don't understand is like, and they literally said like, oh, you said the plane was going to explode. Then the plane did explode. So we're just going to let you go. But then more people start dying of the people who were supposed to be on the plane. And there was one person who you said you should have been on that plane, indicating you want him to die. And yet we just let this guy go free, even after other people start dying.
Even Agent Shrek starts to believe Alex, and
freaked me out.
the other detectives like moron or something like that.
But it's like, I think that's probably the most unbelievable thing in this film is that the FBI agents like, we don't have enough to hold him.
Like that's
ever stopped the FBI from anything. Like, yeah, like this guy literally said like this thing's gonna blow up. They would have had him in like a bunker somewhere.
It's pre 9/11.
Yeah,
Very 2000s view of 2000 view of the FBI.
So next up is Mrs. Luton's death.
This one is bonkers.
She freaks out because of the mug. First of all,
that is the weirdest fucking shot ever. When she,
I thought there was going to be like a bug in it or something, but no, it's just she saw the mug.
I thought it was too hot. But that can't be it.
No, she chose this mug and then later regretted it. It's the summary of how she died.
Isn't it from like her high school or something? Isn't it the high school's mug? That's why
it's from the high school.
Which
Yes.
is also there's 3 references to assassinated presidents, and this mug is one of them because it's like Abraham Lincoln or something like that. We have JFK, and then I think there's another one in here too.
Yes.
What's the other assassinated president?
You let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Tell us in the Discord.
So she fills that up with the hot tea, freaks out, spills that. I was like, no, I can't, but I got to get over it. So I'm going to put some vodka in here instead, which causes the mug to crack, which just starts
it's because it wasn't vodka. It was jet fuel or something.
It had to be jet fuel.
High octane.
I mean, also, never mind that a mug would not crack like that.
That's death, baby.
That's all in Death's plan.
See,
it did that himself.
Death is so powerful that it can change the physical and chemical nature of substances, and yet it can't kill these couple kids.
Because again, it's bored. It's having fun. It's like, what can I do? I can't just kill anymore. Or someone new is taking over that doesn't know how to death.
I just think of it like this is hobby death. Like, this is off time death. He's off the clock. So he's just kind of like, hey, I think I could, let me tinker with this.
Or it's outsourced.
Oh my God, it's outsourced.
Oh, no.
It's just like a lower level demon who's just like, all right, so I got to do what now?
This is Brad.
I need you to kill these 7 people
Temple.
for me. But I have these
Unpaid intern.
unpaid
That's precisely it. So that leads to her. Like, was she turning on her computer? Why did she lean over that?
No, she leaned over the computer that was off.
Okay.
And this actually could be explainable potentially, I guess, depending on where in the circuit of the computer that the vodka hit. Because the power switch is off, right? So anything that's upstream of the power switch wouldn't have power to be able to short. But if it was hitting something that was downstream of the power source or the power switch, then there would be power to it because it's plugged in and it could short, I guess, theoretically. I still call bullshit on it, but that one is at least explainable.
So, I mean, I recently, Sam knows about this and Ross too, because I freaked out. I had a bunch of water fall onto and into my computer. And
shit.
It wasn't turned on, but it had a power supply to it. So I just unplugged it, removed all the parts, let it air out, and then put it back in and then turned it back on and it started up fine. My thing is that, like, if it's like at this point, I don't think the ice is melting and going in. So I don't think it's water. I think it's the straight up vodka. I think if it goes in and touches and doesn't do, like, I don't think that's doing anything to the computer. I think it's drying up actually quicker too if it's fucking alcohol.
And you could argue if somehow she is drinking a vodka that is strong enough to burn on its own, which we all know she isn't.
It's strong enough to explode.
That too.
It's fucking don't get me started. But at that point, there's probably too little water even to short. It's like
exactly.
There's just going to be so much alcohol.
I don't know why that one stood out, but I was like, there's another way to have an inciting incident here, I think.
Well, it's like this one in comparison to the other deaths that we've seen, I mean, like the suicide, is that like this one in particular, like this is so outlandish because it goes across an entire house. So it goes from like cups goofy. To liquor to computers to a cutting board. You know what I mean? Like
we weren't ready for this level of it.
Yeah, with the
then the fucking explosion and the chair. That to me.
Yeah, it's her horrible, awful, no good, very bad day.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. Yes.
100%.
It's like an opening to an episode of Frasier.
But we also get we get a wind blow to start us off though too, remember?
But the window through a closed window.
That's true. And then we
spooky.
Don't we get to Reaper vision in the kettle's like reflection or something like that?
There's a little
yeah, which we got in the reflection in Todd's mirror. A little shadow wave.
As far-fetched as this scene is, and it's just bonkers, it is a little bit of a precedent as to what will be the other movies.
Totally.
Right. It just it's a little bit more bonkers for what the tone is so far. It feels a little more slapsticky, but I loved it.
I feel that this starts off like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, where it's just like this is like you have to go from one outlandish point to another. Like the ultimate someone's going to die, but it's just how far and how crazy can we make the scenario domino itself into getting an explosion that impales a butcher knife directly into your sternum.
See, this scene, I could see an audience
silly.
reacting well.
Can't not laugh at it as soon as she starts reaching for that rag. And after everything that's been happening, you're just like, oh, come on. And the fact that the biggest knife of the whole block just falls straight into her heart.
That's death, baby.
That's death, baby.
That's death, baby.
Death is going to death.
And then another explosion knocks the chair down. And pushes it even further.
Yeah.
I could love it.
Taps it.
I also
when Devin Sawa comes in or Alex comes in and tries to save her or whatever, that's when he is doing all this dumb thing. And if you probably noticed that her door, the stained glass on her door has like a dagger on it.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to be
I find it funny
foreshadowing.
After the chair explodes and it thwacks this butcher knife directly into her chest. Alex takes it out, looking at her dead body, like she's not alive, clearly, because they're doing a staring contest with each other. And like, why would you pull that knife out? Like, there's no helping her. Like he does.
No, he's an idiot.
He just does it out of reflex.
But he also does it in the most dramatic way possible.
I almost expected him when he's holding it and he looks at it. I expected him to be like, ah.
Maybe that's why he does so much mouth breathing acting. Is he's like, that's just the character. He's just playing dumb characters.
Alex, he plays all his characters as dumb. He comes and he's like, okay, this Alex guy, I like him a lot, but what if he's dumb?
This is definitely like, this is the hardest part of the movie for me to swallow, like just generally, because there's so many things in that just wouldn't happen. Vodka in a bottle would not explode. It also wouldn't burn that vigorously. Even if you had like 151, it just burns a tiny little bit. It doesn't burn that much. Totally. So it's just frustrating because you couldn't even make it believable. This is like, the who is this movie not for? It's not for people who want the deaths to make sense, right? Like, I just can't get, and I still, it makes me so mad that Alex just gets picked up by the cops outside her house and runs right the fuck back, runs into a burning building, takes a knife out of a corpse just to put his fingerprints on it, and then runs back out and then does a jumping in slow motion explosion thing. I just can't.
Alex makes a lot of dumb choices. He's not the smartest. He plays dumb. I mean, that's and then death be death, and it's death, baby.
But doesn't that give death so many opportunities?
But it's not death. That's the thing. We keep calling it death. I don't think it's really death behind the wheel here. It's the intern.
It's the intern.
Right.
Yeah.
Hoopla in between. I don't know if you want, but I was going to say let's get to Billy's death.
Oh yeah,
which is going to be the next one, which happens after the car ride.
Before we get there, can I just bring up? I think it could be a good time to talk about Claire's obsession.
Claire.
Claire's obsession with Alex and how like Alex is fucking traumatized and just bumbling around, and she's like, "You're my boyfriend now."
Well, she's like, "We have never talked we've been in high school for 3 years and we've never said a word to each other."
Yeah.
In a very she's been watching him from like the corner of the classroom the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I would have been really nervous if I was Alex after seeing I welded this sculpture of you. And then start stroking its
undeniable
face.
Attraction.
And
this is how you make me feel, Alex, all tangled up inside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would have just been like, oh, so you're going to murder me. You will kill me later on in this. Okay.
Oh,
fair
yeah,
enough.
Absolutely.
But he's 17, so he's like, I'll deal with that. That's fine.
At this point, when they've all gone to find Alex and she finds him on the beach, right?
Yeah.
In the original film, so this movie, New Line does a lot of screen tests, and apparently people loved it except for certain things. And in the original, at this part, they have sex on that beach.
Oh shit!
Or it's implied. It cuts away before you see anything.
Sure.
So
I get that. See, that would make sense.
Is now the relationship
when the dialogue turns to baby is after the beach scene
because another deleted scene is her throwing away a positive pregnancy test into a basket full of other positive pregnancy tests.
What?
Oh my god!
That quickly? I mean. I'm not gonna get into the deleted scenes.
Well, that's why they got rid of it. Part of the movie. This doesn't make sense. Get it out of here.
I did like in the Carter driving sequence before the train tracks that he wants to kind of take himself out, and he kind of wants to take everyone else out in the car, but death or what the intern is not letting him do so. He's literally being like, there's so many opportunities to kill. I think that's an interesting concept because it's they wanting to jump the line.
Do you think he was actually trying to kill them?
I had certain ones where he has the hands above the wheels and driving. There's a part of me was he intentionally wanted to get into an accident, but death was averting that every single time because
I think
you can't kill yourself. I'm going to kill you. You have to wait.
Death spent 20 hours setting up the string of dominoes that leads to them dying.
Oh, yeah.
and god damn it, it's gonna do it that way.
Yeah, he just
he saw him speeding through town. He was like, fuck, train. So I gotta set up a train thing real quick. Clear, you're seeing a train now, and go.
This is where I can forget about the other stuff. I think like, ooh, death is really here. Death is playing game. Like it's just happening to be happening, right? But at this moment is where I thought death is cheating a little bit, because they like lock the seatbelt, they lock the doors, and I'm like, no, this is not fair, death.
Wait a
this
minute.
is not fair.
But it's really,
I would have.
That's something a slasher would do, death.
See, I agree with you. I would have liked to have like just the seatbelt not working.
Yeah.
And then like the doors being able to be open. So like, but they're trying to desperately get him out of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it is very slasher-esque where like everyone gets out totally fine, totally normal. And the second Carter wants to get out,
Bam.
every single lock locks, the windows go up, Tutti Frutti starts playing like it's fucking Christine. And like, and then he's just locked inside of there. Like, yeah, I figured like the belt was enough.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it probably has to do, I mean, this is just guessing at this point, the fact that they probably don't know what they're doing with it yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll see once we revisit and go into the future
installments
what they kind of do with it or everything. I think, yeah, they still just like, what is death? What is this thing that's chasing them? Is it an entity? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. What is life, man? But
well, it's
so
they make, I think,
sorry.
no, it's a really good point though, because I think like with the teacher's death is obviously the most plausible death, I think, in the bunch, where it's like what, like they have this giant sandbox of like, okay, so like we're going to kill these people. How should we kill these people? And then like then they write down like their suggestion box. They're like, all right, well, is this too much? Fuck it, let's film it. Let's see if it works. And then because it seems like they did an array of different kinds of deaths in this, from like accidental to like ludicrous. And I thought, like, I don't know, it's a weird, like, it's like a litmus test for the next sequel. We're like, do they like the wacky ones? Or do they like the straightforward ones?
It was like they got the room to play with it and just were like, let's just take it all over the place. Again, speaking out of like guessing what they might have been thinking.
Yeah, right.
Well, and they could be slowly building towards more ridiculous. All right, they're like, all right, if people are on board, let's
trying to test the waters,
further.
See which way they want people to go. But Billy's death,
fucking awesome,
amazing. You're dead, and you're not taking me with you, pal. And then a metal piece slices his head off.
Yeah,
his kappa was detated.
That was cool.
But like, it's fucked up though, because it's like it kept his lower jaw, so it's just from his upper.
Yeah, it was a cool one. I liked it. So his premonition, his thing that's shown before in the airport thing, is that when he's looking out at the plane taking off, when you look at it, the reflection of his face and the plane in it, it's going like right at the line where it cuts his head off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which
That's
is fun.
fun.
Yeah, and I think again they
like that death really took these things that happened to them once they got off the plane and worked that into their death later.
Well, it's like death. Yeah, got the file on them at a later
Gave
point.
It to his intern.
Saw the whole like thing, the history of what happened since, and it's like, okay, go with that. There's something in here. Find it.
Figure it out.
That's how you're gonna kill him. It's like death is a teacher giving out an assignment to students of death.
That makes so much sense. You guys are really getting me on board with this, because it does make sense that an intern has this job and he accidentally gave this one guy a vision of what was supposed to happen, and now he's trying to make it up before death finds out, you know, like
he's the guy giving the other
fucking it up every time.
Fuck,
I'm on board.
It's like he's hanging out with the plans, and it's like, you know, you drop the picture of the train accidentally, and that manifests onto the window.
It'd be fun to see if this intern continues throughout the series, or if
I cannot wait to find out.
Or if they really evolve and like develop their skill. I mean, I think it's a real growing process. It's the same.
Now we get Crazy Hermit Alex in the woods, right?
Eating cat food.
Oh my god. Tetanus.
Whatever
that's
the hell
a good one.
Oh, that's a rusted.
I like
tetanus. Yeah, he's in the worst
and
fucking place.
Sergio made a really good point. here when we were watching it because he was like, you go through all of this effort to cover everything with duct tape so that nothing can hurt you or anything. And then you use a can opener to open a can, now having this extremely like razor sharp edge right next to your face as
Not
you're
good.
eating.
Foolish. A lot of the choices
his
there.
final touch was putting a piece of duct tape from one wall to another wall in front of a shelf and a lamp. And it was like, all right, good. I'm safe now.
This'll do it.
Shit.
Doesn't make any sense. But he leaves the closet full of sharp objects, sharp enough to pierce the wood when it's slightly ajar. That's not locked.
He
or
forgot
taped.
about
Death
that.
found the one thing he forgot about, that closet full of sharp objects.
And then he slams his hand on the door to close it. I want to see the cut where his hand goes into the fucking sharp object that's poking out of it.
I like they never explain what that is. Oh shit!
It looked like a
Knife or-
climbing axe.
Oh, okay.
I do have a question. So at this point, is that like him escaping death? Because this is the moment where he realizes, like, I never switched my seat. So my seat, technically,
It's
clear.
Yeah, you're right. It's like he's trying to protect himself, but also everyone else. Because if death can't get to him, it won't technically get to anybody else.
Go to the next.
But
right.
it's weird because death is pump faking him because it's actually going
Oh, yeah.
after clear.
See, this is when the death student has turned in its assignment.
Yeah.
And real death is like, no, you got to fuck with him a little bit now. Now we're going down this road. So like he thinks he's next. Let him think he's next.
Yeah, do like some
Take
weird
a little
parlor
break.
tricks. While Clear is getting like that sequence of events at her house is just fucking wild.
Yeah.
Congrats, the dog survived.
I was so happy about
So-
that.
Yes.
I was so happy about that.
My note on that is, thank God that dog was not supposed to be on that plane.
I was gonna say that dog wasn't on that plane.
Exactly.
No.
But hold on, so it's like what? It's the storm. What storm power line goes down? Then the power line goes down. She tries then the pool gets pierced.
She
So there's
has
a live
like
wire.
a clothing, like a drying thing that's sort of that umbrella style. instead of a
Clothesline,
clothing
yeah.
line.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That almost impales her.
Yeah, and then it pierces the pool. So now she gets onto the house right before the ground gets electrified. And then tries to
In the
escape
car.
through the garage.
Yeah, she
Car into the garage.
Backs out through the arm for the automatic garage, falls into the car, and then there's gas or there's oil inside the garage that catches on fire. And then I think that's when Alex gets there and knocks somehow
The
a gas
turpentine.
canister gets knocked over and shot under the car while the electric wire is flopping all around on the hood.
So many.
There's
so many death waves.
This is like Death is acting a little pathetic. He's just like fuck.
He's
fuck.
fucking pissed.
He's like playing Xbox
pissed.
like X A like
It's
any
just
combination.
it's just me.
Just
I
throwing
forgot all the
everything.
combinations that
Button
you need. I'm
mashing.
just like, yeah.
Yeah,
Death's
death is
button mashing.
button
Yeah.
mashing
It's just
at
like,
this
fuck,
point.
fuck, 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 fuck.
Intern button mashing.
Intern, exactly.
Clearly
Yes.
the intern being like, fuck.
I like it also. What was the FBI shows up at the same time? Like, Alex, don't get out of there.
And he looks at her, he's like, you know what you have to do? Let me do this or I'll always be with you.
Oh
And then
yeah,
grabs
that
Picks up the
and then
wire and dies.
Blows up.
Presumably,
Shocks,
or whatever.
blows up, and
comes
then-
back to all that. 6 months later,
They're on
Made it
a
to Paris,
plane.
baby.
They've gotten
on a plane.
to Paris.
They finally make
and
their trip to Paris. I like in their cheers.
Alex says, I still can't believe we got on a plane. And I'm like, yeah, me fucking
Yeah.
either. Like, are you
What's going on?
kidding
Only
me?
6 months later.
Yeah,
6
it's still
months.
fresh.
Too.
Unbelievable.
And you lost a lot
Yeah.
more people from then on. Like
So many more people.
Where
How
clearly
isn't-
crazy shit was happening. But
How
Todd
isn't
or-
Alex detained by the FBI? At
Oh,
this point?
Excellent
yeah.
question. And how was he not just banned for life from the airline?
From flying.
well,
Yeah.
he
They took a different airline.
I think he's escaping. I think
This is pre 9/11. That's right.
When they're hanging out at their little table, they all do a cheers. They go to Terry, to Todd, to everyone else. They don't mention Billy at all, who they watch get
Damn.
decapitated. Like-
Yeah.
They also don't mention the teacher who Carter was so upset that that she died that
Oh, yeah.
he just doesn't matter anymore. It's fine.
they're everyone else. That's part of that. They covered that in everyone else.
That's included. Everyone in between.
It's implied in the everyone else.
And then we obviously get the realization that, Death was waiting for him to realize it at this moment to strike next.
See,
yeah, you want to know why? Because the fucking ghost of John Denver followed them all the way to fucking France.
With a French accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, this is where you could talk to like different regions of like Death's controlling. There's international problems. So when they, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Honestly,
exactly.
But they just got
Jurisdiction.
just all this international bureaucracy.
Yeah. Dude, Eurodeath goes hard. Like this, Eurodeath does not fuck around.
The sign that falls down backwards would say 180. By the way.
Oh, nice. No, because it's like that one domino doesn't work, but that causes another domino to happen, which inadvertently, I'm assuming, it cuts a little late, kills Carter.
Yeah,
right. Yes.
The intern like went back, was like, "Did I do a good job?" And the supervisor was like, "No, you're fired," and then took over. That's when we got France.
That's when you had France.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of shuffling of paperwork in the in-between time. That's why we have 6 months where nothing happens.
Very like
it got lost in the paperwork.
Thanos energy. Fine, I'll do it myself.
And then finally gets back onto his like desk. This thing still needs to be settled. Shit. All right.
Yeah.
Going to France.
I'm just
now you're dealing with Mac Daddy Death now.
Mac Daddy Death is going to France.
I'm trying to
decide the French office. Bonjour.
I'm trying to personally decide if Carter gets, because we cut right from there. We cut to
gets it.
I want to know if he
get
like
a splat.
Is like a cheese grater and it just goes through his body,
Ooh,
or
I
he
want
just
that
goes
so bad.
smush.
I want that so bad.
That's for a later Final Destination for sure.
Okay.
No. I picture him like literally just like Resident Evil laser style,
right?
Or like that, where it's just like he just is or it goes through him and then he looks at you for 2 seconds and that weird trickle of blood comes down.
I need a twitch. And then I need a twitch of his body, like
like Ghost Ship, just drops.
Oh wait, Cody, you haven't seen Ghost Ship?
Nope.
Holy shit, Cody, you're in for
holy shit.
All right,
that's great.
So
you guys have any more notes?
Yes. The ending. Let's rewind. So. In the version where Clear is pregnant.
Oh yeah.
And before the test audience didn't like it, Devon Sawa does the like, "Hey, you know what to do. I'll always be with you." Knowing she's pregnant, grabs the wire to sacrifice himself to save her.
And their unborn
completely catches in flames. Dies, like twitching on the ground on fire, holding this electric wire. Cut to Clear in labor, having a baby she names Alex. Cut with Alex's parents there, comforting her and being with the baby. Cut to Clear in Alex's room, which is also the nursery, where wind blows in and it's not, because she looks at the fan and it's not the fan, and wind blows and it blows like towards flowers and she goes, "Alex," and it's him.
Now he's dead.
So now wind is life. Cut to
wind is life.
Her with the baby looking at the eagle statue, and there's been an added plaque to the bottom for everybody else who died, the people who died after getting on the plane. And Carter is there, and he says something like, sorry he didn't get to meet him." She's like, "He meets him every day." And then she's standing there with the baby, and a autumn leaf of that big maple, the big green leaf that falls in front of him, and she says the thing about autumn coming, and autumn, one of those, falls down onto the camera, covering it up, and people fucking hated it. So they were like, all right, Alex is going to live and Carter is going to die because nobody wants Carter to live and Alex to die.
That's very true. Well, it is. I mean, because like that one's more of like the hallmarky kind of ending to this, and when you have the whole movie built up like a not slasher, it's such a lackluster.
It
ending.
is much more saccharine for sure, especially the stuff with like the wind being Alex visiting her in the nursery and his. Yeah.
I do think I would have been okay if Alex did die.
I think I would have been okay with that.
The deleted
but like,
scene. It's gnarlier than you think.
I'll recut it.
Like you could have had Alex die, and
been.
then you could have maybe had Clear and Carter or something in Paris making the final trip, and then have them die there. I think having the people die at the end was still the correct way to go. The whole baby wind whisper thing.
Then you got to make the timeline make sense with the autumn leaf and that's definitely not a full 9 months there between green leaf and autumn leaf, and not that anything else makes sense in this movie, but
totally.
Oh,
and
the
like
other thing.
I was just saying,
if you okay, in the original ending, I just forgot to mention that when we see them all 6 months later, apparently this whole Final Destination experience has She's All That'd Ali Larter's character Clear, because she's gone from like this bangy, brown-haired, mousy nerd artist girl to like a sort of a stereotypical hot blonde.
Yeah.
Well, she has blonde in the theatrical.
Yeah, what I'm saying, but not the whole movie before that.
she was a brunette in the beginning of the movie.
Right, and she's blonde at the end. I'm confused. What are you saying?
I'm saying that going through this the Final Destination experience, she's all that at her. She went from
she got
nursing,
a makeover.
She cut her bangs.
She got a makeover.
From
this experience.
I mean, wouldn't you want to change it up after going through this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The other people didn't. Devin Saw was still obsessed with why it skipped him.
I think his hair was a little lighter. I don't know.
I think Ali Larter is usually blonde in
everything I've seen her in, except for the most of this movie.
Which means we're like, we need to make you less hot, so let's go brunette.
We're gonna make you brunette.
And the bangs. Well, no, it's the style of the bangs. They gave her a book. No way.
We need you to read.
She welds.
Not wearing the correct welding PPE either, by the way. You need a full face shield, not these tiny little goggles she's wearing.
But that doesn't look cool.
It actually looks pretty cool.
It can look cool.
It looks pretty
so
cool.
You're saying
not for what they want to do.
Who he's talking to?
Yeah, like come on. All right, anybody want to anything else? Because I am done and ready to go to a break for tonight.
Oh, I did have one more thing.
It's Sam.
Well, it got skipped so quickly. The way back when Alex first finds Todd and meets his dad, Todd's body, and his dad's like, he killed himself because of the guilt you brought him. He's like, that makes no sense. We were gonna hang out. Why would he make plans with me if he was thinking about killing himself? He has such like a weird pace to it and quality. It was just like, I laughed out loud both times I watched it, so I couldn't not mention it.
Not say it.
And with that, I'm done.
All right. 6 Again, part 2. First question here. Would we survive this? I'm going to say no. Would we survive death?
No.
Cosmic death magic just makes things happen. Water is more blue.
You're not surviving that.
No.
Vodka is gas fuel.
Yeah, vodka is extremely flammable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Highly explosive. Maybe. It depends. If I have somebody that can
save you,
if I know the rules, if I can try and do this skip thing somehow, I'm still not really sure how that works.
It doesn't though.
I mean, what happens if everyone just teams up to kill somebody out of order? Does it stop everything? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it just creates more paperwork for death.
I mean, this is a fun conundrum that every installment deals with differently, which I find very interesting.
True.
I'm excited to see all these different theories tested and proven incorrect. I need my Jeff Goldblum impression to be like, death finds a way.
And it does every single time.
Did anything pull you out of the movie?
I've already discussed it. The teacher's
you
dead.
said enough.
Detective Shrek.
I've said enough. My goodness.
I don't think I have
there's a
anything
few of them.
additional.
Teacher death, the windows at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
The blue toilet water, the water going back in under the toilet.
I think the shadows, the shadow and sound effect.
When it tried to death as an entity was weird because it half-assed it. Really, and you could tell it didn't know what it was doing. Here's a new one for you guys. We can start this off. If this movie was a band, what is their name and genre? So I called this one Eternal Fate, and they're a dark goth synthwave band.
Oh, that's good.
I went with Pre-Plane Poop, and it's a ska band.
That's just,
it sounds like a ska band.
Yep.
See, this is very me, but for me, I would say their name is No Escape, and they're a gothic metal band.
Ooh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that works.
Very good.
Cool.
I'm gonna go with Mouth Breathers, and they're a punk band.
Nice.
100% classic.
I'm going with McDaddy McDeath. I don't know what kind of music they play. You guys tell me.
McDaddy McDeath sounds like some sort of soul funk.
Yeah, it's either that or a thrash flogging Molly.
Oh, see, I would have gone with a rock and roll band, sort of classic 70s rock.
Hey, everybody, we're McDaddy Death.
So you tell us in the Discord.
So you tell us.
You tell us what McDaddy McDeath. What does that
McDaddy McDeath
scream to you?
It's like the Return of the McRib.
That's the name of the album.
Yes. Is there anything about this movie that is unusual for this genre? I mean, I said it could be depending on which genre you place it in.
I think with this one, it's not the first movie.
I think it was trying to be a little
having death as the main villain, but this one in a way in almost a slasher-esque take, I guess would be the best way of putting that. Is that it's a slasher archetype, but it's using death as the murder machine.
As the slasher.
Yeah, it feels like a slasher movie.
I would agree with that. And I mentioned it at the beginning, but I do think that it's really interesting that this just became such a part of pop culture at the time. I feel like to a certain extent, everyone has kind of heard of Freddy and Jason and everything, but like my sister will not ride on escalators because the Final Destination trailer for one of the movies, I'm sure, had an escalator death.
Oh yeah.
And so now she hates escalators because she's convinced that her foot will get caught and it'll just eat her up. I really do think that this is something unique about specifically Final Destination because because it's all these innocuous things that we do every day.
Oh, totally.
It just penetrates that part.
It makes it more grounded because it's when you have certain, most slashers, but say I'm not at Camp Crystal Lake. I'm not at, you know what I mean? I'm not in, I'm not getting hunted by a dreamscape slasher. I go on airplanes. I drive in my car. I turn my computer on. You know, there's.
I wake up, I walk around my house.
It was a very accessible slasher because it's death. Death is a real thing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, or what is the message of this movie?
Look both ways.
Is a death a fate? Can you escape fate? Destiny, that kind of stuff. Escape the fate.
If you have a vision of you and everyone that you love dying in some horrible fashion, just let it happen.
Just let it play out.
Oh, geez,
let it play out.
I'll take my chances.
Oh, interesting.
Well, that's the message, right? If
you can't escape death.
If he just, it ended up being worse.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine that being the?
I mean, I'd rather get the top of my head cut off than my face burned in jet fuel.
Oh my god, that would be the.
What about you
that
guys?
Would be the best. That would be the best. I don't know, twist to a movie like this, where it's you have the premonition, and then you have this entire movie, but that entire movie is a premonition, so you just stay on the plane. Like you realize how terrible it's going to be and how everyone's just going to get fucked up. So you just have another one. You're like, oh, okay, I guess can I get some peanuts?
Uh-huh.
I want one where they have their vision and they get off, and then it is a slasher movie where like it's still they're all gonna end up getting killed through Death's grand plan, but the grand plan was to send Jigsaw after him.
It's a world where slashers exist and Death just sends a slasher after him.
Mm-hmm. Instead of an intern.
Well, I mean, okay, you can expand upon that maybe in a little bit. How would you make the film gooier is our next question here. And I think this is pretty easy. Most of the deaths could just have more blood.
Yeah.
Big
blood
I already
spurts
explained my idea for the ending.
Mm-hmm. So there's lots there for sure. All right. Six Returns, Part 3. Villain level, 1 to 10. I broke this down to power level. I mean, it's death.
It's 10.
And presumably it's unescapable. It gets a 5 for power level. It's iconography, though. I only gave it a 3 because there's no real...
It's tough because it's not visual. It's not
exactly
like Jason or a Freddy or something. But it does have like the whole... We've talked about it. It sort of cursed a whole generation of like with different anxieties for different things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it came up with sort of this whole new fear of a whole bunch of little things coming together to equal your death.
Yeah. I think honestly, maybe it's not
I give it an 8 total.
I'll give it, man, I'm gonna give it a 9. 9 or 10 for me.
Give it whatever you want.
9.5.
Yeah.
How about that?
9.5.
Because it's like, I think it's even creepier that there's not a visualization of death, as death is this like encompassing blanket all around us. And like, it's just around us at all times. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is
like the air,
like
and
the
wind.
Murder wind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 9.5.
That's another band.
Murder
Wind. I'm down for that.
Do you guys have an opinion or a villain level?
I struggle with this because I get the arguments about it's inescapable and there are certainly some iconic deaths that are here, but I just can't. I can't give it a high score personally. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna give it a score. I can't figure out how to score it in a fair way.
That
Nice.
bad?
No, that's not me saying. That's not me saying that I'm giving it a 0. I don't think that's true. I just think that
this is good though. I think this is good because we're going to be venturing down the death doorway a bunch of times.
So
you know what I mean?
Like, see how you feel. Yeah. We'll ask this question again.
This is just like first date death. You know what I mean? Like this is like, you know, like we don't really know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like we gotta wait till we get to the other ones to kind of like, yeah.
Well, that's all right. Blurgio?
Villain? How bad? Like how much of a baddie this is? That's
1 through 10.
Oh no, but I would be afraid of this death person, death entity.
I don't blame you.
I would make it. If my friend came up to me and was like, "Death design, it's gonna get you. You're next." I'm fucking creeping out. So 7.
Perfect.
Awesome. I think that's pretty adequate.
Good score.
Score. What is the worst sequel, new one, worst sequel idea you can imagine for this movie? I'll start it off. This sequel involves finding the embodiment of life. Just like death has a design, so does life. And they have to find this other force that allows them to combat, death. I would be like, that'd be a wild, crazy turn. You go to see Final Destination 2 and they just, lean into this whole...
But then you can have a Final Destination 3 where it's all the force of death and the forces of life like against each other in this
this whole
cataclysmic battle. Yeah.
Oh man, the worst sequel. Maybe like Death Takes a Vacation. So like all this horrible shit happens, but no one dies, so that nobody knows really.
No one can die.
It's like what's happening? Where's everyone?
So everybody just like blows up in an airplane and it lands and they're like, help, kill me.
A whole bunch of turtles, dude.
A whole bunch of turtles.
Splattered turtles on the ground.
Please kill me.
And God, it's a world where everyone, just turtles.
I'm going to take the Nightmare on Elm Street 2 route, and death is within somebody and they release death in its true form.
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like that. Maybe that's not the worst way, but
It's funny. Yeah, anytime we think of these worst things, I always tend to be like, hey, maybe I'd watch that.
I think for me, the worst sequel would be like just a complete retcon where it starts up with like you see the vision again, but then Alex wakes up and he's like, he wasn't even at the airport. He was just in his bed. And like it turns out that this is after Paris and everything went fine and nothing happened. And then he's just paranoid the entire movie.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh God, none of it happened, and he's just a crazy. He's just a crazy.
He's just crazy.
No.
I think the worst sequel would be Alex and Claire do have a kid, and only that he has a vision about the kid dying and saves his kid, but now only this baby is in danger of a final destination. So all these anxiety-inducing scenes of stuff happening to come together to kill something are about to happen to a baby every time you watch that scene.
It's like Final Destination and Baby's Day Out.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like this is like a family horror movie where like you just look one way and he's like grabbing wires,
Absolutely.
being like, and like no,
because
He's in a puddle grabbing wires.
based in a lot of
And
reality.
it turns out it's because he only baby-proofed the house using duct tape.
Right, exactly.
Corks. You just put corks on everything and then just duct tape.
Corks and duct
He
tape
hung
everywhere.
a piece of duct tape from a ceiling and was
That'll be
like,
fine.
perfect.
All right, so would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl?
Nope.
I said
No.
nah.
There's no
I'm
Creed.
fine. I like.
there's no
There's no fucking Creed.
Nine Inch
That's
No
fine by
fucking
me.
way. No fucking Creed.
I don't need any
No.
Creed. I'm sorry.
That's the only
You're not taking me higher
real
then.
song in the movie,
You're
right?
not taking me
The
higher,
Nine Inch
Bryan.
Nails song?
I'm sorry, Sam. I can't hear you.
The only Nine Inch Nail, the Nine Inch Nails song is the only song in the movie, right? Oh no, the John Denver song.
All the John Denver
John
song. Yeah, I was like, if I said I'll listen to that Nine Inch Nails song, and I'm not a big John Denver guy, so I'm okay.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Anything action figure worthy as well? I said meh, not really.
I don't know that there's anything I would want.
Just sell an empty
Burnt
case
Alex?
and just call it death.
maybe
I do want that. Yes.
that is funny.
When
Maybe the bus
Oh my action bus.
with like the remains in the front.
Oh yeah.
What if you had action figures that were like water balloons, and then you could just use the bus to splat them so they would just explode at any time?
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
You could. Is there a merch or prop you would want from the film?
I mean, I do think we've already decided that the T-shirt design of like Tony Todd's entire monologue with the design.
Oh, from
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that as merch. I was like maybe the top half of Billy's head.
Ooh.
As
that'd be
prop.
a very cool prop to
yeah.
have. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that really cool art piece that is Alex and Claire's
The bobblehead
relationship to each other.
It's really silly, but the one that I would want would be Todd, TOD, from the magazine that gets ripped
Oh, the
up.
little piece of
Penthouse.
paper.
It's German
Yeah.
for death. It's funny. It's nice. It's small. It's compact.
Yes. Got to look for the signs.
Fits in
See,
your
I
pocket.
think another T-shirt that I would want is I would want like the artwork style from the airplane cover, but I want the plane and all the people like from the airport watching in the background.
See, I want the whole ass memorial statue.
Like the actual statue.
Yes.
The actual like hawk
All right,
thing.
next
or
time we
birds.
record, I want to see that behind you guys.
right here.
What happened to the glowing ghost? Nothing. We just replaced it with this giant
We got a
statue.
fucking 12-foot
We're literally like just up
wingspan
here.
eagle.
Just
Yeah.
comes up to the front. Thanks,
We
Cruz.
invested hard into this series, guys. All right, what would you do at the midnight show? I said when anyone's about to die or things, you yell out some sort of warning. Watch out for the
out.
bus. Yeah, like, or whenever the death scene starts, people could go, "It's getting breezy in here."
It's getting breezy in here.
Ooh,
Or just
yeah.
everyone blows.
Everybody has pocket
was thinking-
fans.
I was going to say, anytime you hear a John Denver song, the whole audience just says John fucking Denver.
Oh, that's good.
I don't have any.
Cool. No problem. Then that brings us into our ratings for tonight.
Oh,
It's
shoot, we're
time
here.
to
We've landed.
pull out something, some sort of machine that'll eventually cut off our fingers as we rate this film on our Chuddle scale. 0 to 5 fingers, chop them off at your leisure, engaging, sticky, t-shirtable cockables, and rewatchables. Ross, go ahead and go first.
Oh, thanks. All right, we're gonna go with engaging. Man, this is gonna get a 1 for engaging. Even the hokier parts, I was fully engaged, just because of it's 2000 cinema. I don't know. There's something about 2000 cinema that just has that it's weird. It's cheese, but it's good cheese. Sticky, I am still fucked up to this day about like certain plane stuff, bathroom accessories. Like you'll never see any of my bathtubs have a clothesline in the middle of it. Fuck that. Like no way.
It's the only time I've ever seen one, to be honest.
All of mine have them now.
No, like this movie is so good at being sticky in the fact that like it's everyday shit that could kill you is fantastic. T-shirtable, we already covered that. We've got a monologue with a skull and a photo of the back. So that's going to get a 1 from me. Cockles, this one's a weird one. Cockles gets a 0.5 for me because like it was good, but the deaths could have been better. They could have been gooier. There could have been a lot more je ne sais quoi. I didn't get it's a good at like it was good.
They were rocked but not milked.
Exactly. Rewatchable's also going to get a 0.5 for me. I do enjoy this movie, but it is not in any kind of rotation for me. I think there's some of the other installments that get a lot zanier that I would probably jump first on watching.
I get that.
Makes sense to me. All right, Sam, you're up next.
That's right, I am. Would you like to know what my score is?
Oh, that was a 4, by the way.
Nope. On to the next. Let's go over to me.
4 out of 5 for the big Ross dog.
4 out of 5.
All right. Engaging. Yeah, that's a 1. It's got good pacing. It keeps you interested. Even at the parts that pull you out, you're still
except for that credit scene. Get rid of that credit scene.
Oh, that's true.
Sticky. I'm gonna go 0.5 because I remember this just more conceptually, but it never. Unlike Ross, I've never been afraid to go on a plane or use a bathroom because of this movie. Ross can't do either anymore.
I can't do any
it's
of
really
it.
difficult.
I've just been in this room surrounded by corks and duct tape since the year 2000.
It's a life. T-shirtable. I'm going to go 0.5 there as well. I like the movie. I don't love the movie. The original poster is a badass poster, and it would just work well on a shirt. I see it now. Cockles. That's going to be a 0.5 as well. Certainly... and part of it, I'm not even sure if it's nostalgia bringing me back to it or not. I don't know how I'd react to it as a new viewer, but 0.5. And rewatchable is going to be the same thing. Probably never watch this on its own. I would go to the other ones first. But if I were going to do a Final Destination watch, I'd watch this one, and I want to be upset that I did. I just don't need to revisit it, which gives it a 3 out of 5 for me.
That's pretty good too. All right, over to myself. Engaging gets a 1. I kind of echoing what you guys said. Good pacing on it. I was well engaged the whole time. As ridiculous as it got, or not as in and out of it as it took me, I was still engaged with it and had fun watching it. So definitely a 1 for there. In terms of sticky, this is where it's going to get a 0.5 from me. This isn't the one that has caused me any sort of anxiety at looking at things. We'll get to other ones, and it's not like some of the big ones people talk about later in the franchise. Oh, you can never drive on the highway the same way and stuff. There's other things in those that I always look out for and we'll get into and stuff. But
totally.
This one gets a 0.5. It's halfway there.
Oh.
T-shirtable. Full one. I have a final. I didn't wear it tonight, but I have a Final Destination T-shirt. I think there's plenty of good imagery and fun things to do with it, so it totally gets the one from me on that one. Cockles again on this one is going to get the 0.5 treatment, just because I like the ones later on a little bit more. This one is just again the start to what I really like out of stuff later in the series, them figuring things out. I like it, but it's not fully there. Rocked but not milked, as we like to say. And rewatchable gets 1. I'd watch this one again. I watched this twice with no problem. I would go back again freely, or especially if I was going to watch the whole thing again. But yeah, it gets the 1. So that gives that a 4 as well. All right, Cody, Sergio, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You feel free to use our scale. We would love it. Or give us your own thoughts.
How about we say it at the same time?
No.
Ready?
No.
And
So I'll go first so we can end on a positive note.
Jeez.
So engaging, I think I would give this a 0.5. I don't feel strongly enough to give this a 0. I was watching it, it wasn't my favorite.
Sure.
Sticky, I would also agree with you, Bryan. I know that there are scenes from movies that we have yet to see that just from the trailers years ago, I still remember. And there was nothing of that in this movie. I'm not like a nervous flyer, which is probably the biggest thing that this could get at. So, I thought it was fine. I'd say a 0.5 for that as well. T-shirtable, I'll give that a full 1. I have some great ideas for t-shirts, and I would 100% wear it.
Cody will be starting his Etsy shop soon.
All right.
Cockles, I'm gonna give this a 0.
Ooh, it's okay.
So
no cockles.
And then rewatchable, I will give a tentative 0.5, only because having not seen the rest of the movies, I don't know if I would want to. I think that I would watch this if the other movies would make a good overall sit down and watch the whole franchise in a big movie marathon sort of thing. So I just don't know that. I'll give it a 0.5, so that's a 2.5 from me.
That's pretty. Yeah. That's not bad.
No, not bad.
Hello, my name is Sergio, and I'm about to present to you my ratings. Blurgio. So engaging. I was engaged. I'll give this a 1. I think I'm always engaged unless because this has become a comfort movie to me. So I will put it in the background whenever. But when I need to watch it, I'm engaged throughout the whole thing. Sticky. This movie sticks to me a lot. That opening sequence is always fucking iconic to me. I think it's really effective to this day, and I think it sucks because I think my rating is going to be based off of nostalgia mostly.
Mine is very dipped in nostalgia.
In nostalgia. So I would give where am I? Sticky? I'm still sticky. 1. T-shirtable, I will give this a 0.5 because I think the only thing I would want to wear is the poster, but nothing really else. So I think I'm gonna give this a 0.5. Cockles, there's also another hard one because on its own, I would want to give this a 1, but compared to the franchise or the ones that I have seen, it doesn't really match up. So I'm a little torn. So it's only fair that I give it a 0.5.
Okay,
fair. That is only fair.
And rewatchable, I will give it a 1 because I obviously I will rewatch this again and again.
Beautiful. So what's that? 4?
4.
Yep.
4 out of 5.
All right.
Welcome
Those
to
are
the
some
4.
pretty good
right?
score.
Do those scores feel right in your heart, guys?
Yeah, feels good.
That feels right.
4 feels
Death,
wonderful.
do you want to speak on our behalf?
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Death.
As we finish up tonight's episode, we're going to close out with our final 2 questions. First, does Final Destination belong in the Chuddle Club Crypt? Average score of 4 or more. Sam?
Yes.
No.
No, it does not.
Yes.
I trusted you.
But no.
With 2 4s and a 3, that is going to be a 3.67, 3.7, we'll call it, out of 5.
Interesting. That matches up with some other recent scores. All right. To finish us off, would you rather time? Would you rather have the ability to foresee your own death like Alex in the movie, or have the power to save others from their impending deaths, but at the cost of your own life? So presumably you could help someone not die, but you would die. You could see,
I would,
or you could just know when you're going to die. This one came from AI as well.
Honestly,
Ava.
I would probably,
right.
I'd murk myself to help someone out. I mean, like, because you have the choice in that. It's like, do you see other people's, like, everyone's death, and you just get to intervene in one of them and get killed? Or is it like...
That is tough. Yeah,
Also,
I wouldn't want that.
Because that would be real
Do I
fucked up.
immediately combust if I tell somebody? Like,
I don't know.
Don't. You're going to get crushed by a bus, and then I combust.
Just explode.
Well, presumably.
Oh no! I think it would be. I think it would be even worse, because in this scenario, it's like you can foresee it, but you can't stop it. So you know it's going to happen. It just haunts you forever. Versus you give up yourself, but you completely save somebody else.
And I feel like that comes out of more, you don't know when or where that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I think I would probably be more the second, personally.
Same.
Second.
I wouldn't want to know about my impending or my death when
I don't
or
care
however
about
it is.
knowing about my death.
Of course you don't.
I lean towards knowing about my death.
I lean towards
because then I know, like, other shit's not going to kill me, right? I don't need to worry about that because that's not how I die.
guess it's like
but
two different things of impending doom. You know what I mean?
I'm not that carefree, Sam.
Well, because I think if you're,
well, you know you're going to die one day anyway, right?
yeah, but I mean, like, but if you're
No,
haunted,
I'd rather
know that. I'm not gonna, but I'm the exception. Sam.
I'm gonna live forever.
Skip me.
No, but it's the difference between like having haunting dreams or like visions of your own death versus haunting visions of someone else's death, but then you don't know when you're going to die to intervene to help them. You know what I mean? Like, I guess you're still dying either way, except like one version you're someone else's death, and the other one it's your own death.
One version you can drive down the highway without any anxiety because you know you're going to die of old age in your sleep or whatever it shows you. Whereas the other one, the mechanisms are still uncertain. And to be frank, there's not many people that I would sacrifice my life for. Very few. Most of them are in my house right now. So
plus, that would take a lot of work because I then have to convince the other person.
I'm here to save you. I promise.
I'm here to save you. I'm a hero.
Come with me if you want to live.
I was gonna say the same thing, Sam.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on all like the scenarios. Yeah, if it's you're saving, I don't know.
Not saving one person or like, you know,
I don't know. It
tens
says save
of thousands
others.
of people.
Yeah.
That's what
it
I might
is,
be
Sam.
a little more self-sacrificial.
Way to be selfish. This is saving the world, and you just chose to save yourself. Good job. I'll be like Carter, or I forgot to mention his line.
You are like Carter
I'm never going to
already.
die.
I'm never going to die.
I believe he says that exactly.
He does.
Yeah,
I believe
that's
after after Alex pulls Carter out of the car and he said something about I saw the broken seatbelt. Carter says to him, "You're the fucking devil." It happens so quickly, you almost don't notice it, but it's pretty good.
Carter's the best. All right.
Carter, you dick.
For tonight, our Chuddle Club movie meeting for tonight. As a movie club, you members are the heart and soul, so don't forget to jump into the Discord, the best place to continue this conversation with us, as well as other club members and past guests. Huge thank you to Cody, Sergio, Horror Bandwagon. We love you guys so much, and thank you for going on past journeys into the future ones ahead of us.
This will not be our final
Go check out everything of theirs.
Oh yeah.
Thank you,
just
Ross.
begun. It has just
I'm not
begun.
that clever.
I'm so looking forward to what Cody is gonna think of
So am
the
I.
other movies and how it's gonna go. But Cody loves campy.
I do. I love campy shit.
So I think he's gonna love it.
You thought the teacher's death was bonkers? We'll get
that's
there.
just the
appetizer.
It's gonna be
I'm
bumpy.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for allowing us to come back.
Oh, please.
You guys locked the door, but
Yeah,
you know
we
we
have the
broke
key.
in.
But
I was going to
seriously,
say we locked
We
you
locked
in.
you. Yeah, we locked you in.
it's well. Here's the thing. We're not locked in here with you. You're locked in here.
Oh shit!
Who's locked in
What
with you?
What if?
What if?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
What is it?
With arms wide open. Anyways,
Honestly, though, this is always so much fun. Thank you so much for having us back again. I cannot wait to watch all these other movies.
Yeah,
excited
no,
for the next
I think
one.
I'm gonna have to watch them all again like this week, and then just watch them again. And
Oh, you're just
as
going
they
to go
come
down
up.
the tunnel.
I had to
hit
stop
it
myself
hard.
from doing a marathon.
Thank you guys. Go check out everything that they have. Their YouTubes.
Mhm.
They have a sweet Discord. That shit's popping
such
over
a nice
there. Get
Discord.
into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're jealous. It's
Nice
beautiful. It's
tables and
polished.
chairs over there.
Exactly. They got very jealous of the furniture. Anyway, Sam at Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd, Ross at Ross
Sup?
Purvis on Instagram, all of us at Chuddle the Pod on all of the places pretty much. Rate and review us. Be sure to tell a friend. It helps us so much. And until next time.
You don't even want to fuck with that mech.